born ready.
Born ready to be back.
So when you going back today?
Right after this game finished.
Huh?
Right after this game finished.
Well, you just gonna waste your time. They should not even put you in a hotel. You should just sleep the night.
Too much work to go back to tomorrow morning, Saturday, or tonight.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
A new era for American cricket began in 2021.
There he goes into a dive! Wicket!
The rise of cricket was celebrated across the country. Now, with big wickets and even bigger hits, the stars of minor league cricket are back and better than ever.
Primus goes huge!
Don't miss the nation's largest league competing for the biggest prize in American cricket. The Toyota Minor League Championship returns this summer, live on Willow TV.
The action continues at the Prairie View Cricket Complex, home of cricket in the United States. The very final matchup of this holiday weekend of this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco. It's the home team, the Houston Hurricanes, up against the SoCal Lashings. What a game this can be. Two teams in desperate need of a win. My good friend, the hometown hero, alongside me, Brian Walters. Brian, great to have you back. Welcome to the action.
Great to have you back, Nikhil. Or really great to be back. I'm really interested. You call me the hometown hero. I'm interested in seeing whether or not Houston can just stand up and be counted. Defend home turf for the last match in the series. I'm expecting them to do exactly that.
Spot on, Brian, and it's the game that they need to win after narrowly losing yesterday. That's the effect it had on the table, the Pacific Conference, where the Mustangs are undefeated. Them and the Silicon Valley Strikers after 5 games. As you can see there, the two teams on the bottom of each group as the two groups clash. The Hurricanes 1-3, and the Lashings, after losing this morning, now 1-4, stuck on 2 points. Boy, has it been a struggle for them. Let's have a look at what happened early in terms of the toss. The two captains, Usman Rafiq and Dale Phillips, were in the middle. The toss spun by Rafiq, the home captain, and Rafiq won the toss and elected to take first knock in today's proceedings. No real surprise given they struggled to chase down that 147 yesterday for victory. So today looking to set the tone. Well, our good friend Brian, who's been watching all the action very keenly, Nate Hayes, had a look at today's matchup. Here's his perspective on the battle.
Is nice and you have a deep team and the breaks are going your way, but it's not so great when the league is giving you lashings and people start using your team name against you. And speaking of things not going your way, the Houston Hurricanes have had a tough start to their season. Usman Rafiq is going to have to find answers, and he's going to have to find them soon, and it would help a lot if Ashley Nurse was one of those answers. But Houston should feel lucky that the Central Division hasn't run away from them yet. Both teams have elements that are working, but are going to want to use this game to rebound before it's too late.
Well, the word of the day, rebound. And both these teams have got to come back strongly. One of these two teams, by the end of today, Brian, will go to 2 wins. Have a look at the two teams. 2 changes for the Houston Hurricanes. Suckling Hyder, their hero from yesterday, who took them so close, only getting to 56, losing by 4 runs. He's out of the 11 today due to injury, as well as Jermaine Levine, the left-arm spinner. 2 changes for them. Huzifa Ahmed comes in. And then for the Lashings, unchanged from earlier today.
Well, I'm really interested in seeing exactly how the ageless Elmore Hutchinson performs in this match. And then, of course, the exciting batting at the top of the lineup with Katana Clark and Dale Phillips. Those two, I think, are going to set the field on fire when they come to bat. But first, they have some work to do in the field.
Well, just about ready for the action. Kenny Clark on screen. Elmore Hutchinson, who would have just bowled actually the final over of the game in the last one. That was almost less than an hour ago. He's back in action with the new ball in hand, and the Lashings will be looking to improve on that earlier performance. What are you most excited about, Brian, in terms of this matchup?
I love the big left-handed fast bowler. You know I always have. And I'm also looking to see, as I mentioned earlier, whether Houston can have their own pride be the dominating factor in having them make a good account of themselves here.
Similar opening partnership to the yesterday's loss. Ramiz Raja comes to the crease, a man with tremendous experience. Raja, obviously from Pakistan, tons of experience. His partner, Asad Shafiq, former international player. But Raja, well, he's got to bring the impetus at the top of the order for his Hurricanes team, who desperately need of a win, just one against the Chicago Blasters. That was at the start of the weekend. First delivery, here we go. Edge straight away, and no slip again in place. Dale Phillips has been reluctant to have a slip. I think against the new ball, you've got to when you need wickets. First ball, first boundary.
Well, gave him a little bit too much width on that occasion, so doubling or compounding the error of not having a slip is delivering the ball too wide. Big man just getting that ball a little bit too wide, flashing away for four. As you see that the replay, very wide of off stump, and an easy for it to be picked up here by Ramiz Raja.
Well, Elmore Hutchinson will be in search of wickets. Likes to bowl with this new ball. Of course, the former international USA all-rounder, Hutchinson. 10 wickets across his minor league career in between the two seasons now. A slow start for him in the 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship.
Over, but over.
Again edged and just over point, agonizingly close to being a first wicket for the Lashings. This is how this day has gone for them. They've struggled in the field. Another boundary, back-to-back boundaries for Raja.
Again, just a little too wide for Elmore Hutchinson, giving Ramiz Raja the room that he needs to play that shot. Look at this, just reaching out, just outstretched dive by that backward point fielder, not able to get to it. So 2 fours on the trot here. Elmore is going to have to bring that ball straighter to Ramiz Raja.
Cuts this time, and would you believe it, he's finally got his man. And Elmore Hutchinson, the persistence outside the off stump pays off. He looks to the heavens. And Ramiz Raja again, after 2 boundaries, has thrown it away. He's so important to this Hurricanes team, but he's just not taking full responsibility of his innings.
Boy, Elmore would have bowled much better balls than that one and not gotten a wicket. Here you see on the replay, short and wide again, just not getting enough elevation on that cut shot by Raja. Elmore Hutchinson celebrates. First wicket goes down. There goes the batter. Scores 8 for 1.
But not great stuff by the Hurricanes early on. 8 for 1. So they've chopped and changed this batting lineup, the Houston Hurricanes. Munib Chowdhury, who's opened the batting 3 times in this tournament, started with a blistering 95. He comes to the middle, virtually opening the batting, just 2 deliveries in, Brian.
That's where Houston has struggled. When you've made early inroads and you expose the middle order too quickly, and you mentioned chopping and changing, you've seen them do that quite a bit because the top of the order is relatively unsettled. You're going to want to settle that down if you are. Here's the wicket. Look at the, again, short and wide, cut away and taken, pretty easy catch in the end.
Let's not forget, of course, yesterday we saw Ashley Nurse walking at number 3, but in that situation they were chasing 147. The 148 needed for victory. In the end, they fell 4 runs short. How much impact will that Hurricanes loss? It was so close, went down to the last delivery. They needed 5. And Saklenheider was left stranded on 56. He's not in the batting lineup today. So facing an injury. So he's been replaced by Tomaf Wasi, one of the 2 changes made by the Hurricanes. Wonder how much the impact that will have on their performances in this game.
They say sometimes it's more difficult to come back from a close loss. If you get blown away by 60 runs, that's one thing. But those close ones where you came all the way close to the end and almost winning is an issue.
Yeah, look at the field. 2 allowed outside circle. He's got Elmore Hutchinson, the deep mid wicket. And the third man tends to start with that, Hutchinson. I want to see, though, Brian, a slip in place. You look at the angle he's bowling to Riyasat, pushing the ball across the right-hander. Have a slip, be aggressive. You've got to take this game on.
I 100% agree with you. The left arm angle is what the key is for me. Bowling over the wicket, that angle needs a slip.
Driven nicely, timed it really well, but well cut off at extra cover as well. So just be a single. Of course, so important that the Houston Hurricanes, they would have identified this weekend as probably their most important of the season. Get back to that after this over. 9 for 1.
What?
Well, you just look at the start from the Lashings, the ideal start for them, taking a wicket so early. Couldn't have asked for a better result from Elmore Hutchinson.
I mentioned sometime yesterday, Nikhil, that winning is a habit, but also is losing. And my suspicion is that if there is a good winning streak that Houston is on, that shot by Ramiz Raja ends up clearing that fielder at backward point and running away for 4. But you're in the mindset as you see the new bowler about to come in to bowl.
Sanjit Sandhu will come in to the attack, leading wicket taker in the tournament for the Lashings. 7 wickets for him. Didn't pick up one earlier today in that game that they played, the loss against the Thunderbolts.
Boy, Houston, as they say sometimes here in Texas, cannot do wrong right. And they're really struggling. The mentality of this team is the more concerning of everything that's going on. Bad things are happening on the field, yes. But, you know, overall, I just think that their mentality is what's contributing to their demise.
Here's Hutchinson again, the way he was able to strike in the first over. Raja had hit 2 boundaries before, and that's my point, Brian, in terms of greater responsibility. You've hit the first 2 balls for boundaries, you've gotten 8 runs. You know how important of a piece you are to your team's chances. I mean, the shot could have been on had he got it over point, but just think about maybe, was that extra risk needed?
I don't have a big problem with the shot. Short, wide, 4. That's the formula for scoring behind point in limited over cricket with no one deep. But just, you have to get it either fine enough or over that fielder, and he did neither.
Asad Shafiq off the mark straight away. Comes in with a real responsibility, especially after that wicket of Ramiz Raja. It's been a real slow, disappointing start to the season for Shafiq. A man that comes in with over 77 test matches, 61 internationals. And they really need a greater output from the experienced veteran.
Middle. That's middle.
Well, as has been the case so many times in this weekend, Nikhil, Houston is undergoing a rebuild entirely too early in their innings. Takes away completely from any momentum that you'd have had when you had the confidence to win the toss and bat first.
Punched into the gap, Shafiq. To finally get off the mark. Yeah, it's got to start with them, you think. Asad Shafiq, Ramiz Raja, Ashley Nurse. 3 of the most experienced members, 3 people that would have played at such a high level of this game. They have to be the ones to make the change in terms of momentum for this Houston Hurricanes team. The home team, mind you, who have only picked up 1 win in 4 matches.
That a drop. Looking to play it away in the leg side, Nikhil, and I think that leading edge just got dropped.
Huge chance going to begging for the Lashings. You cannot afford to make those simple mistakes. We saw it in the last game. A couple of drop chances cost them in the end. Look at that swing, though. Late away movement from Chowdhury. Completely surprising him.
Late away movement, and just looking at that replay, Elmore Hutchinson was sort of wrong-footed, leaning the wrong direction, leaning to his right. The ball came away to his left. Now you see him just sort of exercising the finger. I don't know that I've ever seen Elmore Hutchinson field in the slips. He's a good athlete, but generally speaking,
May have split his webbing.
Wow.
See some that left hand, one of the fingers bleeding. But what you can see, great camera work to actually see that.
yes.
Look at the swing here. Very late movement.
Yep.
Just going away from Chowdhury and then hitting the hands extremely hard. The finger, the left hand. Remember, he's a left arm seamer. That's the bowling hand for Elmore Hutchinson.
Boy, Nikhil, if you've played cricket for long enough, you've had that happen. It is never a good feeling having that ball hit you basically the top of your finger, like a hammer would hit a nail. And that can either split, as you see the replay again, that late swing, taking it away from the batter and just onto the ring finger, banging into the ring finger of Elmore Hutchinson. Goodness. A little bit of a delay while he is looked after. You made a really important point, Nikhil. That is your bowling arm and the bowling finger. So you're going to have trouble if you are Elmore Hutchinson gripping that ball. You're going to have trouble controlling it. So I don't know that he can be able to continue bowling in the spell, but if he doesn't, coming back later after the adrenaline has worn off a little bit may make this injury even that much worse.
But getting some treatment to that hand, as you can see. I just want to go out to the delivery, though. That was an excellent replay because it showed you the seam positioning by Sanchez Sandhu. It's why he's put himself in position to take wickets. Look at that. Brilliant seam position. The ball angling, the seam angling towards slip is why he was able to swing away from the right-hander. And I just mentioned this in the first game earlier today, Brian, and I'll mention it again. A slip is so important, especially with that newer ball doing things. One off the surface, but also laterally.
That could have been a clinic in how to bowl an outswinger as an opening right-handed fast bowler. That's seam just angled towards first slip, and you release that ball with your wrist right behind it. That tends to have the ball move away in the air towards first slip. Now, your question about why there was that the slip was not in place for Elmore Hutchinson. As we get back to this replay here again.
And you can see there, away movement, Munib Chowdhury almost tricked him because the line initially was on the legs, but it did enough to go away from him. Really should have been taken, though. Elmore Hutchinson, he usually has a good pair of hands. So, big chance going to beg, and he saw it earlier today. An outside edge went straight in the slip region, and there was no slip in place. So, good captaincy by Dale Phillips. Proactive captaincy to have a man there, but unfortunately not able to pounce on the opportunity.
And I'm actually surprised that Elmore Hutchinson remains at first slip.
Real class from Shafiq, but straight to the man. That's been a story all tournament for him. Asad Shafiq, 31 runs, Brian, in 5 innings, an average of 8. He's been really subpar in terms of what we expect from the former international player.
You absolutely need better than that from the player who at that position would be expected to average probably that number plus 30 or plus 40. Certainly need more than that from him.
Yeah, he's going to be so crucial now in this batting display. So Asad Shafiq, well, will look to get this innings moving. You can see there he has been dismissed a couple of times with that very shot, Brian. Trying to close the bat face too early. 3 cotton balls in the tournament from Asad Shafiq, so he's got to be careful with that shot selection. outside the off stump and almost just getting a piece of the bat on the way through. It's going to be a wide.
Just a little too late there, just angling in towards the batter, but that great outswing on this occasion was his demise. He basically had the ball on the stumps. Had that not swung, it would have stayed inside the line, but concedes his first wide of his spell.
There's been a tentative start by these two in the middle, but the key thing is that they're not risking too much at this stage for a fragile batting lineup. It's going to be so important that they consolidate. 15 for 1.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom.
Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At SoCal, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Well, there it is, the action happening at the Prairie View Cricket Complex. 5 games all going on at this time. And Brian, earlier today you were on that field and saw another 100 from Shayan Jayasuriya of the Silicon Valley Strikers. 200s now in 2 days in this tournament.
Shayan Jayasuriya, the left-handed former Sri Lankan international, his 100 yesterday was a different innings from the one from today. The one yesterday had a couple of chances, almost run out at one stage. Today he bossed the game from the very beginning. A dominant performance and absolutely took the Silicon Valley Strikers home. They are still unbeaten, as you said earlier in the piece.
Boy, has he been magnificent to score 200s. He's now had 300s, 2 by him in this tournament. Well, this time, finally gets one to the boundary. Munib Chowdhury, it's been a struggle for him in the last 3 games. That will help his confidence, the young man.
Munib Chowdhury riding that short ball by Elmer Hutchinson, just going down the leg side a little bit. There you see on the angle, just down the leg side. And with fine leg inside the circle, always going to run away for 4.
Hurricanes need something from this top order. Mentioned in yesterday's game, in a game that they lost against the Surf Riders. 15-7-4 from the top 3. 12 from Nina Nimbalkar, number 4. A total of 48 runs from the top 4, never going to be enough. Brian, you need them to pull the weight in this power play, and it's why they've won a toss and batted first.
You absolutely need to. The other thing is that when the top order fails, that puts all the pressure on the back end. You want, if you are the Ashley Nurses or the Usman Rafiqs, to come in playing with a certain amount of freedom. You don't want to have to come in and decide whether to rebuild or whether to accelerate. That's a difficult position to put them in.
So far, these two have been pretty quiet. Yes, they've hit a couple boundaries in the innings. But you look at the power play for the Hurricanes. Have really struggled to get any momentum. Against the Surf Riders, in the first 6 over, they were 35 for 2. So not only were they struggled to score, of course they were only chasing 147, but today a different challenge, batting first. No real impetus by anyone, especially with Ramiz Raja falling again. This time Shafiq. Well, that's a coming out shot, you could say, because he's struggled and bogged down all year into this minor league. But finally gets one out the middle, and it'll help him a lot in terms of growing in stride and confidence in this innings.
That is a stunning shot. Look at this. Off the front foot, a pull off the front foot, well in front of square, landing maybe 5 yards over the boundary at deep mid-wicket. Let's see if that will help them break the shackles.
He is a stylish player. Very familiar name in this minor league tournament, having these international players. Already 11 from this over. Boy, did they need this just to sort of bring a bit of intensity to the innings. It was just looking a bit too nonchalant for a team that's only won one in 4 games. This time outside the off-stump, and this time even better. That's gorgeous from Shafiq. And this is what this man is capable of if he gets away. A very expensive over comes to an end. 15 from it, 30 for 1.
Good one, hey, good one. Let's hustle through.
.30 for 1 after 3 overs. And, well, much better after that big over, Brian. 15 runs coming from it, the Elmore Hutchinson over. And it was because of this. First, Asad Shafiq pulling one into the onside. That was a maximum. And then showing all the different aspects to his game. A glorious cover drive with no cover on the boundary, just 2 allowed outside the circle.
Let's see if that's what Houston needs, or if that serves as an impetus to break them out of the malaise that they appear to be in. Really, just to get the sense that they're a completely different team from last year. Let's see if this can shake them into some semblance of their former selves.
Fired in, good Yorker to Munib Chowdhury. It's been a very difficult journey for the young man, Munib Chowdhury. 95 from 59 deliveries, Brian, against the Dallas Mustangs. Since, though, he struggled to even cross 10. He's been taken from the top of the order. Yesterday, he didn't bat at all. Then today, he's coming at number 3. So he's had to work with a lot of different changing variables.
That 95 against Dallas on artificial surface, you wonder if he has the same talent to be able to transfer it to the turf.
He's a young man, Munib Chowdhury, and will be looking to learn as this tournament progresses. One thing just observing him, though, he looks, and probably rightfully so, as a youngster coming in the team, his first real season at the top of the order, a bit tentative at the crease. You know, always that fear we sent from young players of being dismissed. It's something that he's going to have to learn, and having someone like Shafiq at the other end will only help him grow through the innings, especially now with this platform. He's been there for 12 deliveries, has to cash in. Munib Riyasat Chowdhury. Smart batting from Shafiq, able to turn over the strike.
Completely agree with you. Having the senior partner at the other end, I'd like to see them communicating a little bit more, particularly between overs. Just kind of let him know, you know, we're in this together. I have your back. Let's make sure that we just get control of the bowling. All of those little sayings that you have to be able to communicate to your partner that you're both going in the same direction. It's very important.
Well, has he got bat on it? The finger goes up. Asad Shafiq, he's distraught. And a lean period continues for him. Another big wicket falling for the Hurricanes. It's been a trouble and a problem all year, but Sandhu strikes.
Wow, delivery going down the leg side. You'd think that there'd be an easy opportunity to score runs. The last thing that you expect to have happen is that tickle to come off the edge, and that snapped up very quickly by Dale Phillips.
Shafiq gone for 11, 31 for 2.
All right, boys. Let's go. Let's hustle.
Huge wicket goes down. It's one of your experienced men, and exposes the inexperience of this Houston Hurricanes, a rebuilding team. Ninad Nimbalkar, slow start to the tournament for him. He's been in and out of the team, but he's got to try to find a way, making the move. A man from Dallas, he's got to find a way to put on a partnership here with Munib Chowdhury.
See the wicket again, all going down the leg side. 99 times out of 100 as a batter, you want to see that delivery. It almost always represents a good scoring opportunity, but this time only tickling it through to the wicketkeeper Dale Phillips.
Yeah, Shafiq almost guiltily didn't want to look at the umpire. Saw everyone around him running and celebrating, and he knew straight away. He knew he had got a little feather on it. And he was a dead man walking, as they like to say. Shafiq be so disappointed with that. After two gorgeous strokes in the previous over, Brian.
Boy, just continuing for Houston, just receiving body blow after body blow. Worst sign that you would have wanted to see if you were a Shafiq was the slow finger of Roshane Samuels, umpire at the highway end, going up. My goodness. As I said earlier, they just cannot do wrong right, the Houston Hurricanes.
This time will be runs. Right, you cannot do wrong right. Explain that one to us. You Texas natives have your own value of the English language. You cannot do wrong right. I thought you were Jamaican, Brian. What is it?
First of all, I am and will always be a Jamaican. I will say more about that after the over.
32 for 2.
Let's go, Gaia. Let's go, baby. Gaia.
But Brian, tell us about that. After we look at the batting card, it's been a real struggle for the Hurricanes early on. Losing their openers yet again. It's been a struggle. They've lost wickets every single power play. At least 2 of them in all 5 of the matches so far.
Boy, you're going to want to rebuild, but again, you've been asked too often to have the middle to the lower order help you to rebuild if you're Houston. And it becomes that much more difficult to sort of launch towards the end of the innings.
Gian Fernando, the man from Sri Lanka, who was in the wickets again earlier today against the Seattle Thunderbolts in a losing cause, comes back into the attack. Still within this power play, still only 2 allowed outside the circle. We did see Abhimanu Rajat come into the attack with his spin, but they've opted to go to seam of Fernando. 12 wickets in this 16 minor league matches for Gian Fernando.
Fernando coming from the Forest end.
Edges fine. Opens the face at the last second, Nina and Mbalkar. You'll get a run. That's the way, in one way, that they need to rebuild this innings. This way to start the Fernando over.
Well, Houston, you get the sense that they need a whole lot more than that. Mbalkar will take that every time. Really looking to play defensively, or maybe we can give him credit. Maybe just open the face of the bat at the last second and running that ball fine of the fielder and short third man for 4.
Quick single, good running. Away these 2, trying to get for that quick single. That's one way that they're going to have to try to take some of the pressure off. The Hurricanes have to look to rotate the strike continuously.
You're absolutely right. When the big shots are not coming, you still need to have the scorecard be ticking over. So the best way to do that is to get those quick singles going. I don't like what we saw from the non-striker there. Just a little late in taking off for that single. They both need a commitment to make sure that these quick singles, when they're on offer, that they need to be taken.
Just observing this Houston Hurricanes team, very close there. Just observing this Hurricanes team, Brian, it seems to me like they're really missing that Sushant Modani, that Willem Luddick player that they have. Good delivery from Fernando again. Too close to cut. Likes to work that ball down to third man. Munib Chowdhury. Seems like they're really that void left by Modani, who's moved to the Mustangs, and Luddick, who's not in the Hurricanes team this season, the leading run scorer for them in 2021. they've struggled without them. The top order has been clear. The top 5 have been unable to put together anything substantial so far. Besides that first game, of course, where they got it to 204 and lost against the Mustangs.
I agree with you, and now when you get the sense that these things sort of build on each other, Nikhil, then you find yourself as a Houston Hurricane player thinking, what is the next bad thing that's going to happen? So far, Colin Edwards operating at the forest end. We have the 2 Jamaican umpires in operation here.
This one now squeezed down, and it will be 4. It's a quick outfield. And Munib Chowdhury getting enough bat on it to take it to the boundary, second in the over. Playing it from across the line as well. It was a bold move. Not a very straight delivery, but he committed and committed hard.
They say that cricket is a game that rewards aggression. That ball pulled from well outside off stump, really a thick under edge, Nikhil. Not the best contact made on that ball, but the aggression is what rewarded him with the boundary there.
Much better correction in this time from Fernando. But it ends an expensive over. End of 5, 41 for 2.
You look tired, my friend. What happened? Come on, 3 more overs.
This is just a technical.
1, 2, 3.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
Up to these two to try to get their team to some position, a respectable position, maybe by the 10th over mark, to allow the power of Rafiq, Nurse, Trump to have something to work with. It's been a real struggle for the Houston Hurricanes. The home team, and Brian, at the end of this weekend, they would have played, after today, would have played 5 matches.
What are we waiting for?
Really can make or break your season. Speaking of make or break, it's been made by Toyota, having them as title sponsors in this second season of this minor league championship. It's been so fantastic to have those global partners with us. Daffin News, Sunoco as well. Spin into the attack for the first time today. Manu Rajip again. He's very involved in animated discussion in that first game, Brian. He's a very aggressive player. He likes to play his cricket with high intensity, but received a couple warnings from the umpire. So interested to see now how that's affected him. And the wicket. It was so slow, it just tricked him in terms of pace. And the troubles, the disappointment continues for the Houston Hurricanes. A good delivery from Manu Rajip, straight away into the attack and straight away making an impact.
From the naked eye, it looked like it was drifted and turning in through the gap between bat and pad right there. Huge gap left between bat and pad. There you get another look at it. Tossed up, inducing the drive. But look at that turn. Haven't seen many balls turn that much. Beautiful delivery. Nimbarka goes away. Scores 41 for 3.
Huh? If I block him and he doesn't see a run out, it's not out.
Okay. Probably. Guess whose favor goes in? The batsman.
I was behind that. Make sure you're always ahead of him. Just making sure.
Gaurav Bajaj walks to the middle. And it would have been faced the last delivery of that heartbreaking loss yesterday against the San Diego Surf Riders. Was in that partnership with Suckling Haider. What sort of void will Haider, who made 56 yesterday and was part of a 25 6-wicket run partnership, and 44 between Bajaj and Haider. He's missing due to injury, a big piece.
It's yet another body blow
And again.
I mentioned earlier about exposing the lower middle order. That's effectively what happens when you lose wickets or when you have big hitters absent.
This is something new that I've seen from Rajat. He's making the adjustment because he usually is a very quick bowler in terms of through the air, but definitely a lot slower. And I think it's because this surface is drying out. He knows that there's purchase readily available on this track. Another slow delivery and another dot ball. The wicket, though, very second delivery of his over, was able to prize through the gate of Neeman Nebalkar.
Beautiful piece of off-spin bowling, tossed up, inducing the drive, exposing that huge gap between bat and pad.
There was a little indecision at first, and in the end, though, these two quick youth getting there quite comfortably in the end. But anytime you beat the batter through the gate and you hit this off stump, you know as an off spinner you're doing something right, and also you know that there is some purchase. Run out chance at the bowler's end. It was well home in the end.
Well, that is an off spinner's dream. You're absolutely right, Nikhil.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Another dot delivery, but a really good first over from Rajat. 1 run and a wicket, 42 for 3.
Let's focus on next 6, boys. Next 6, very crucial. And you can go. Helmet.
42 after the first power play. Just 2 allowed outside the circle for that power play, but that's done and dusted. Now Gian Fernando will have the benefit of having some more protection. But the key thing for the Lashings is that they've taken 3 wickets. Always so important that you take wickets early as a fielding side, especially losing the toss, being asked to bowl first. Kind of harsh on the Lashings. They just finished a game where they were in the field and then losing the toss. Dale Phillips, that's probably the one toss in his life he would have wanted to win.
100% agree with you. It also led to the interesting scenario where you had a fast bowler, Elmore Hutchinson, bowl the 2 consecutive overs that his team played in, which obviously can't happen in the same game, but in situations like this, you can't see where it wouldn't happen.
It's been a real struggle for the Houston Hurricanes. Gaurav Bajaj just getting the helmet, and whilst he does that, gives me an opportunity to just touch on the Hurricanes and their struggles. You look at their 5 innings and the 5 power plays they've had in the tournament, Brian. 56 for 2 against the Mustangs, then 50 for 2, but then 33 for 3, 35 for 2, and today 42 for 3. One common denominator in all of those figures, the wickets column. In the 5 power plays, they've already lost 12 wickets, and that's the real reason why this batting lineup hasn't fired. That's a delivery from Gian Fernando. Always such a challenge when you lose your top 3, especially, Brian, when your top 3 is made up of 2 out of the 3 most experienced players in your lineup.
Just you lose that international experience. Good line and just a tentative poke at that ball. Bajaj, I think, showing the same tentative nature of more so the larger idea of Houston struggling at this moment.
Punched straight to cover, but misfield means they can get for the 1. Gian Fernando looking to still chip away and add to the wickets column for the first time today for him. It's been a good addition to this team. Was dropped in the first game, but since has played in every one. Picked up 4 wickets already in the season. Straight up. And there is a long on in place. Hutchinson can only watch it. For one moment, he thought he was in with a chance. Munib Chowdhury, a release shot, and he gets the maximum.
going through with the shot. That ball was probably right in the slot. You know, the tentative nature that we described has for a second disappeared as that ball lofted over long on for 6. Houston doesn't necessarily need 6s. They'll absolutely take the 6. But at this point, they just want to keep that scoreboard ticking.
Well, it has been a struggle for Chowdhury, but that 6 will help him in terms of just getting some of the weight off his shoulders. Would have been striking at way below 100. So the fact that he's been able to get that 6 means he can now go to 20 from just 19 deliveries. The scoring rate is not the problem. They're going at 7.5 runs per over. It's the wickets that's the issue. 3 in that top order dismissed, and then Balker, the most recent to go. Deliveries like that, though, is why this is a good cricketing surface. And I had a look at the pitch this morning, Brian, and saw a lot of that green grass on it. Credit to Norman Joseph and his staff. Norman Joseph, the head curator here at Prairie View. The grandfather of Alzari Joseph, the West Indies player, but he would have mentioned the fact that they want to maintain that green grass, and it's why this wicket was used again. One of the things, Brian, that me and you will know well, being at Prairie View a lot of water every day goes into this surface. And people always wonder, why are they wetting it so much? 1, it's very dry, but 2, is to keep that green grass living and allow for bowlers like Fernando to get value and enjoy bowling on this surface.
Well, I tell you, it's so important to encourage fast bowlers to have a surface that responds when they bend their backs. You want good carry and bounce. You also want good lateral movement, which is what the grass helps with.
In the air, but just short of Rajat at extra cover. Could have easily been a 4th for the Houston Hurricanes going down. That one may have just stuck in the surface, but an eventful over. 7 from it, 49 for 3. These the two young guns looking to build a partnership in this immense heat here in Houston, Texas. Conditions have added a whole other element of difficulty for the teams competing over this holiday weekend. Of course, July 4th. Happy July 4th to you, Brian.
Thank you, Nikhil. As you see, the SoCal Lashings is what the bowling card looks like. 1 wicket each for Elmer Hutchinson, Sandhu, and Rajat. And Rajat in particular, 1 over, that 1 run and 1 wicket with the tremendous off-spinner's delight. Tossed up delivery outside, inducing the drive and turning through the gate to disturb the furniture. Just great over for him, and he'll be looking to continue that right now.
Full toss down the trap, but there is, of course, protection in the deep. He'll miss out. He'll feel like he missed out there, Gaurav Bajaj. A good player of spin.
Keep rushing him, keep rushing him.
Akash Veer Singh, Brian, the under-19 player in this Lashings lineup. Yeah, that was him. Akash Veer Singh, Brian, the under-19 player in this lineup. Only 1 over and 3 runs in the last game. There he is. He was nursing an injury to the right hand, his bowling hand, but he seemed raring and ready to go. I'm not sure why he was only given the 1 over, especially now that he's in again. So clearly that niggle couldn't be too much. The injury, hopefully, will have a part to play with the ball.
Catch it!
This time in the air and work to be done for long off, but he splits the gap well. Really good shot from Gaurav Bajaj, who's shown that he's got good abilities against spin.
That is a great shot, just elevating it, playing through the line. Not much flourish needed. Here we look on the replay. Tossed up, a little bit too full, a little bit of turn, but just driven right over the top. Couple bounces running away for 4.
It's so good by Bajaj because right before that delivery, Abhimanyu Rajat ran down to the keeper and had a chat with him in terms of Dale Phillips, the captain, and wanted to bring that long off a bit wider So the fact that he's done that, then Bajaj with a full delivery has been said, you know what, whatever you can do, I can do better. A chess match, and placed it.
Oh, get it, get it,
Very
get it.
close. Very straight. So this is a much better approach by the Hurricanes thus far. Been a while since they've lost the wicket now. This will be the second over of this partnership. They desperately need one to develop. On the track again. You can see Rajab is trying to force Bajaj to target that long off and cover fielders, thinking he can prize a wicket like that.
Go on.
For me, as an off spinner, I'd like to see him bowl one just a little bit straighter to see if you can tempt a rash stroke on the leg side.
Just on extra.
Because with Houston already under pressure,
Yeah.
of course, it looks like he's doing the exact opposite as he's moved away mid-wicket into the offside, into the covers.
Oh, above.
Another full delivery outside off. Plays it. Chowdhury and a dot to end the over. May have been a wide if he left it. End of 8, 56 for 3.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, तेरे घर लाने का।
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
This game of cricket is so beautiful. Much like conditions here. Love the small battles, the small matchups. T20 cricket, a game full of matchups.
Change here, bud. Right arm over.
Small breeze blowing across the ground. As Sanchit Sandhu, you can see trees moving in the distance.
We'll take all the breeze we can get. Temperature outside probably around 95 degrees. I would suspect that it's at least 10 degrees warmer than that here in the commentators area.
Well, of course, it's 10 degrees warmer because we're in the heat of the action, Brian. We're so involved in everything that goes on with all the different camera angles. And of course, how would we be doing it without the fueling that we get from Sunoco? It's been fantastic to have them on board for this season. First time for them, second for Toyota. And we're hoping it's the start of many successful years of this tournament to come. Great to have the global partners on board. DAFA News as well, the official sponsors. Drives it very powerfully. Good shot from Munib Chowdhury. Remember, he scored 95 in the first game. Return to form for him. He's very important to the Hurricanes and their batting performance.
That is a great strike. Right down the ground. 25 he goes to now. Striking it exactly at 100 rate. He needs to stay there for the rest of the innings. Here's a replay, full delivery, and just struck right past the left boot of the fast bowler, not able to impact that ball going away to the boundary for 4.
Well, he powered it down the ground, and it's what I say about Munib Chowdhury that I think was missing in the last couple of games. Just that backing in terms of you want to bat yourself, knowing that you started the tournament so well. Yes, it was a synthetic surface, a different challenge, but still, you know that you have the ability to take the game on. Take it by the scruff of its neck, like he's done in this innings. Katani Clark, well, he needs some refueling. He needs some refueling. Clark, he's been leading run scorer for this team. He'll get a quick fill up and he'll be ready with the bat again. I'm telling you, Brian, I'm getting better at these puns, you know. I've been working every day. I go home, I sit down, have a long think, and practice my puns.
I will say there have been 1 or 2 dodgy ones, but for the most part, your puns have worked. 1 or 2 dodgy ones, though. I won't forgive the dodgy ones.
Working hard to get on feature in DAFA News, of course, where the Lashings would feature in a losing cause earlier today. Looking to play that into the onside. Awkward
Awkward indeed. Did not time it very well. For a second, we didn't exactly pick up the line of that ball. It almost looked like it was looping up for a potential return catch. And falling, luckily for Riasat, just landing in that extra cover region. Here's the replay again. Certainly coming maybe off the maker's name on the bat. No power in it at all. Luckily for him, it lands short.
A real interesting decision by the captain, Dale Phillips, though, to go back to Sanchez Sandu, who's been the leading wicket taker. He goes to him for his third over. Not usually do we see him bowling 3 so early. I wonder why. I think maybe just looking and knowing that if you can take one more of these top order wickets, you're in even a better position.
I would call it the kick them while they're down strategy. If you prize out one more of these 2 with your strike bowler, then you really expose the heart of this Houston lineup, and it builds on itself.
It's down the track, but swing and a miss from Gaurav Bajaj. Hasn't been the best 11 deliveries for Bajaj, but the main thing, he's still there and fighting for his team. End of 9, 62 for 3.
Keep getting through it, behind good down.
Well, pure power to come. You think about Usman Rafiq, Ashley Nurse, Matthew Trump. Ashley Nurse, this will be a big game for him. He's underperformed for this Houston Hurricanes team with both bat and ball, and he's one of the main reasons why, well, one of the main reasons they can recover. The main thing for the Hurricanes, though, Brian, is they can't afford to panic too early. Yet it's a tough transition for them because last season they finished 2nd in that Central Division. So for them to now start 1 and 3, real setback for them. But the main thing is that they have to take it one game at a time, slowly, and look to win small moments of every game. Akash Veer Singh, the under 19 off spinner, will come into the attack.
I agree with that. The overall run rate is not bad. The overall run rate is 6.89, so you can keep it around 7 and over, and then get to the last 6 or so with batters like Ashley Nurse and Usman Rafiq. You can still put up a competitive total, but the idea is just to not lose any more quick wickets here.
Well, Singh, the young man, 17 wickets in 15 matches for him last year in the 2021 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. So looking to have another successful year in the wickets column. First delivery would just be a single. And then now with him bowling, it does make me question again. Why was he not given the ball? Yes, probably would not made a huge difference. Only needed to chase 122, the Seattle Thunderbolts. But you just never know. A man that's proven he can take wickets at this level, already did it for an entire season. Got to bowl his full quarter. Runs for the Hurricanes. This will be a couple of them at least. Got to hurry. And yesterday at the end, I tell you, Munib Chowdhury, he was coasting, cruising. Had Dale Phillips hit the stumps there, or even a better throw. Could have been very interesting.
He was. He actually sat on his bat, reluctant to come back for the second, only decided belatedly to go back for that second run.
Let's go, Cash. Come, boy, quick.
47 on his back, DJ Bravo. Number of DJ Bravo, Akash Veer Singh. Well, wants to be a match winner. He shows that he can take wickets like Bravo.
Oh, yeah.
Bring him forward. Two teams starving for a win. We saw him play a couple shots at number 11, Akash Veer Singh. A reverse sweep, which impressed me in the last game for the Lashings. So he maybe wants to take something off the page of DJ Bravo's book in terms of the batting as well.
Great delivery by the off spinner, just tossing it up and bringing that batter forward. That's what you want to see from your young off spinner.
Catch it.
This time in the air, the man is in the deep but can't stop it. It was so straight, and again the second time we've seen that stroke from Gaurav Bajaj, working well for him. His second boundary, and he's supporting this partnership really well for the Hurricanes.
Gun barrel straight, right back over the head of the bowler. Here you see using his feet to get to the pitch, making it into a half volley. Absolutely gun barrel straight. No way that long on could have gotten around in time to get that. So they will absolutely take that four. Here you see it again. As you see at the point where he played that shot, he was well down the wicket, diving or jumping attempt by that long on fielder, but not able to get to it. So signs of Houston trying to recover and create a platform for the big hitters down the lineup. If you're a Houston Hurricane fan or supporter or player, you love the last four overs.
28-run partnership between these two now developing. The youth stepping up for the Hurricanes. It's a transition period for them, but boy, do they need something to go their way. This time off the inside edge. I touched briefly on the absences in this Hurricanes team in terms of the batting lineup. We've mentioned Willem Luddick, Sushant Morang, but also in the bowling and also overall experience. Ali Khan, Kartik Gatapalli, who's injured.
Catch it.
24 wickets for the Hurricanes last season. More work to be done on the boundary. Does well to just takes up the big boot. That's Abhimanyu Rajat in the end. No, it's not. Sandhu, Sanchit Sandhu. End of 10, 71 for 3.
Here you see a picture of the first half of the innings of the Manhattan. A lot of bungalows, one big skyscraper there in the middle at the third over. But overall, 7-1 for 3 is actually not a bad score if you're Houston. You're scoring at a rate of 7.1 runs per over. That, in effect, has created a platform. You can launch from here, and it is up to you as the Houston team to be able to just take the game from this point forward. You still have Ashley Nurse, Captain Usman Rafiq, and Matthew Trump to come. You suspect that most of the runs will come from those three, but from this point on, you want to make sure that's Abhinanyu Rajpi, who's a bowler who's now being asked to slow down this Houston attack.
Spin from both ends.
Catch him, catch him!
Chowdhury hit that really well, but Kateni Clark was waiting at long off. Thought for a second, Chowdhury, that he'd actually picked up the man. Fortunate for him that he's able to just remain. He said it yesterday and said it again. Suckling Haider yesterday for the Hurricanes was the man that got the 50. Someone has, in T20 cricket, it's proven somebody's got to spend time at the crease and allow others to come in and be aggressive, but
catch him now, catch him now.
This time in the air, and this time it's taken. So Bajaj would have just watched the carbon copy from Riyasat, and in the end, he does the same thing, tries to better his teammate, but picks out Kateni Clark on the boundary, and Abhimanyu Rajat in the wickets again.
That is good bowling by Rajat, tossing it up again. You'd think if it just hit down the ground that you'd want to pull his length back just a little bit, but it stays enticing the batters, tossing it up, inducing that drive, and Kateni Clark coming across a few steps to his right, taking the catch easily. So another blow here for the Houston lineup. But Bajaj walks off, scores 72 for 4.
Well, Matthew Trump comes to the middle. A promotion for the youngster today. Just 2 days ago it was where Trump made his first appearance with the bat in hand. Boy, did he like this 2022 Toyota Minor League. On fire with a 44 not out from 28 in a losing cause against a very good bowling attack in the Silicon Valley Strikers. And because of that, it's earned him a promotion to number 6. Brian?
I like the promotion. Trump has shown the ability to bat, let's call it conventionally, and he can also accelerate. You can see him with the reverse sweeps and switch hits. But I like the fact that he's now being asked to play this role, maybe just a touch too early for your big hitters to think about coming in. But if he can hold the fort, keep that scoring rate somewhere around 7 for the next couple of overs, then you would think that the platform can still be set the way that Houston wants it for the final 6 or so.
So first delivery a wide. Abhimanyu Rajat was able to get the wicket, the crucial wicket of Bajaj, able to break the partnership. Again, he's used a lot of flight in this innings.
Oh, get down!
Trump off the mark straight away. This time in the air, just staying in the surface from. And really some variable bounce. Matthew Trump's family, his brother, who plays for the Dallas Mustangs. Good to see his family here supporting. Got a little dog there as well. He's also supporting Trump. He will be very happy with this. Runs again for him. Very happy to see their family member get a promotion in an important time for the Houston Hurricanes. Even though they've struggled, Brian, Trump has been a find.
This is what I'm referring to. Trump has shown an ability so far to keep that strike rate right around 100 and launch later on.
Oh, ball.
A single, so consolidation by these two in the middle. I'll say it again, Matthew Trump. He's been the trump card for Usman Rafiq. That's gonna stick. If I say it 10 times, somebody's got to use it after this weekend. I mean, how can you go wrong with that pun? The trump card? That's brilliant. I think I deserve some more credit, Brian Walters. Oh, just looking to get a bit too fancy. Looking to pierce that gap. There's a gap between point and short third. End of the over, 77 for 4.
Keep going, fellas. Keep going, fellas.
Apparently it's dog day at the park. I love seeing the little pooches come on out and celebrate the 4th of July. Boy, look at that. All the members of the Trump family. I'll tell you, we're absolutely enjoying a wonderful day here on July 4th. Happy July 4th to everyone that's all watching. As Akashveer Singh looks to continue from the highway end.
This time in the air, there is a long on in place. You have to settle for just a single. Thought he was in with a chance for a second. And many may not know this, but Matthew Trump has actually got a brother, Joshua Trump, who's also in attendance. But a good battle unfolding between the two young guns, Matthew Trump and Akashveer Singh.
Right arm over.
That's Joshua Trump, who represents the Dallas Mustangs franchise. So his parents have had to do some driving.
Oh, yes, nice spin.
Imagine the Dallas and then Houston, back and forth. He's good to see him supporting his brother, though, with the Mustangs having an off day.
It's not an easy drive. That's dedication galore from your parents. That is just so supportive.
Not usually do we see two brothers playing. Today we saw two brothers in the same team, Adam and James Crossway, both in the Seattle Thunderbolts team. But now the two brothers in the cross division, cross-country rivals, you could say, neighbors, the Mustangs and the Hurricanes.
Catch it! Yeah.
Just cut to point would be a single. Since that wicket has been slow going. 7 runs, 6 runs from the last over. Now just 2 from this. They're clawing their way back into this one. The Lashings after breaking that partnership.
Catch it.
This is a really good spell from the youngster that I mentioned. He's a genuine wicket taker. Akashveer Singh has been excellent to watch. in this heat as well. Not easy for any of these players in both these teams. Suckling Hyder was massively affected after scoring that 56 yesterday. That's why he's not in the 11 today. Just a single to end. Akash was saying, won't mind that at all. 3 from the over, 80 for 4.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, तेरे घर लाने का। 1, 2, 3.
So, Gian Fernando with his seam will come back into the attack. 8 overs remain for the Houston Hurricanes. The scoring rate is not a problem, especially with what's to come. And the fact that Munib Chowdhury is still at in the middle and at the crease for the Hurricanes. What is the score they're targeting with 8 overs left at 80, Brian?
160.
8 and over from here.
Double the score after 12 generally gets you in the neighborhood, particularly with the big hitters to come.
What would we do without Brian Walters? Fantastic analysis and a mathematician as well. Can't keep these Jamaicans out of the game. You can't keep these Jamaicans out of the game. Big swing and a miss. Likes to play across that ball, but it's a big risk taking it from outside the off stump. But why he's doing it, he's targeting the smaller side. Munib Chowdhury, he knows if he gets bad on ball, he bats to go over the top. Clear the leg side boundary.
Exactly right. But if he misses that, or if he under edges it, every chance that that ball can go onto the stump. So he has to be careful choosing which balls to go across.
This time it's in the air. There is a man in the deep, but he can only be a fetcher. Kateni Clark, he's got to fetch that one. Goes all the way for a maximum. And Munib Chowdhury, good hit from him.
Brilliant drive. Very full delivery from Gian Fernando and just blasted back over the top. Kateni Clark, very athletic, leaps right there, but not enough room to be able to complete the catch. If you're Houston, you feel that momentum building. I think they have to target at least 160. You cannot accept anything less than that after having chosen to bat first.
But they're in a position to do so with 6 wickets in hand still. Gian Fernando has been uncharacteristically expensive so far. 22 he's gone for. That was just brute force from Munib Chowdhury though. Went length and no foot movement needed. All the power came from his base. Just placed it over long off. Oh, a bat on it. Just an outside edge. Played it at the last minute, Munib Chowdhury, and gets it wide of Dale Phillips, who can only watch. 6 and then a 4. Things turning in the right direction for the Houston Hurricanes.
Fortune favors the brave. You see the exasperated look on Fernando's face. Cross seamer this time, looking to probably try to get that extra bounce. And in fact, that may have been exactly what happened, but a thick edge, actually off the glove of Phillips. Didn't realize that looking at it live, but he'll take the 4. And look, there's absolutely some momentum being built here for Houston. Can they capitalize on it?
This time in the air. Would you believe it? I thought that fielder position at cow corner could have come forward and taken the catch. Sanchez Sandhu in the leg side. I thought that could have been the end of Munib Chowdhury. But in the end, the fielder opting to play it safe. How costly could that be?
He made that decision very early, didn't he, Nikhil? I thought exactly the same thing. In fact, at first I thought it was going right down his throat.
Matthew Tromp has to hurry back. Direct hit, he was gone. He gave up on it. Tromp was far down. No chance of getting back into his crease. Very fortunate to not be run out there. Slow start for Tromp. The main thing is he can't give it away now, especially with Riyasat at the other end. Rooney, Riyasat, Chowdhury. He's been so brilliant. As soon as he hit it, he took off Trump, sent back, going to the danger end. Rooney, Chowdhury would have been far out.
Nowhere near.
Yeah.
Coming back for two this time, though. Trump finally able to get the desired result, but an expensive over. 13 runs from it, 93 for 4.
Batting card, Manit Chowdhury, 43 from 39. Gaurav Bajaj, second highest, 17 from 17. But what they'll be looking for here is support for Chowdhury from Trump. Trump at 5, not out from 7. And you're actually looking for acceleration from this point onward. And again, keeping in mind that you have the Ashley Nurses and the Usman Rafiqs to come. Houston has to keep pushing on here.
Kashmir Singh back into the attack for his third. For the single. This is smart batting from Munib Chowdhury. Blistering hot day. Josh Daskam, well, he's a man of many talents, offering some good refreshments. One of the MLC organizers of this event. Making some changes, of course, has to ensure that Sunoco and Toyota seen. Oh, what a shot that is from Trump. Wow, stand and deliver from the young man. We saw it against the seam with Ray Marifa, showing that he can do it to both the spin and the seam. Good innovation from Matthew Trump. This young man is a find.
Absolute innovation, getting into position there for the reverse. In fact, the switch hit, actually switched directions of batting and hit that ball like a left-handed sweep. Runs away behind fine leg for 4. So you hear me keep saying it, Nikhil, there is an opportunity to accelerate, and you get the sense that that's what they both feel at this point. Trump now up above 100, striking it at 112, 9 from 8, and Mohammad Chowdhury is absolutely on the charge as well.
He had time, Trump tries to go down the ground this time, but more importantly, Akash Veer Singh pushes it wide. Smart bowling by the young man. But Matthew Trump has been so brilliant, knowing exactly where that third man was, up inside the circle. This time off the outside edge. And more fortunate for the Hurricanes, it's going to be another boundary. Things going against the Lashings. Has to feel very hard done by Akash Veer Singh. 2 boundaries in the over.
Akash Veer Singh has a bit of a disgusted look. Look at this replay. Looking to play that, I think, a lot square, but it came off a thick outside edge, but he'll absolutely take those runs, Matthew Trump.
Wanted a wide, but knew exactly where to pitch that ball. Akash Veer Singh, and an anticlimactic end to the over. 102 for 4.
From the side, this on the side.
We're back with the action here at the Prairie View Cricket Complex. You can see there the bowling card. Just 5 options used. 1 apiece remaining for Sandhu, Fernando, Rajab, and Akash Veer Singh. So, Dale Phillips, the captain, the new captain today, mind you, starting as the leader at the helm for the Lashings team earlier today. So he's opting to go Gian Fernando now. Has, of course, Sanchez Sandu, who's been the leading wicket taker. He's got another up his sleeve. Expect him to probably bowl that penultimate. Elmo Hutchinson, the strike bowler, has got 2 as well. Big swing from Munib Chowdhury. He's tried to go into the onside so often throughout the day.
Signal as a bye. Umpire Colin Edwards with the signal. Just a fumbled collection there by Phillips. We expect him to be able to take those 10 times out of 10.
This time he picks it up, Matthew Trump. He's so strong off a length because of those long levers, but all in the base. This young man, what a find, what a contributor he's been for the Houston Hurricanes.
Well, Nikhil, in baseball parks all across the country today, you will see shots very similar to that one. That was just a right-handed baseball hitter going deep over left field. That was definitely a baseball shot. Brutal and fierce. Planted over mid-wicket for 6.
I can tell you what, Matthew Trump, knowing exactly the fact that he's hitting into the smaller side, as soon as Fernando went short, Trump did not hesitate to clear that boundary. What a performance from this man. His team has struggled, but he's struck 3 sixes so far and struck at over 120 in this tournament. Dead ball given by the umpire. Not sure what went on there. So again, Fernando's going to have to rebowl that one. Not sure why he was given a dead delivery.
Umpires confirming with each other that 4 balls are to come in the over. I agree with you, Nikhil. I don't see what the issue was there.
This time he goes in the offside. There is that cover fielder who's well in, and because of it, prevents a second run. There's good awareness though by the fielder at the cover boundary to be in off the circle, even off the boundary, sorry, Brian, because he knows how quick Munib Chowdhury and Matthew Trump are.
Good awareness, good captaincy too, because that fielder right off of the boundary definitely saving 1 run.
Looking to play that another shot into the onside. He's really been happy to go to that option. And what it does mean, this partnership now for Matthew Trump and Munib Chowdhury. What it does mean, a partnership now worth 38 in no time. It means that what the Houston Hurricanes did to teams so well last year was get in and in the last 5 overs go berserk with Nurse, Shafiq, Ali Khan, who struck a few as well. They're in that position now with the 2 hitters rearing and ready to go. Munib Chowdhury again, he's tried that option. May just be running out of gas. Call in the Sunoco van. Need to be refueled, but he's got an important part to play. He'll be 6 away from the half century, a second one into this tournament.
Segan on that replay, back into position. He saw it early. I think you may be right. Might just be tiring just a little bit. Obviously, scorching conditions out here in the Prairie View summer.
And again, almost an instant replay of the previous delivery. Ends a good comeback from Fernando. 3 dots, 110 for 4.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At SoCal, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Abhimanyu Rajat will come into the attack. He's got 1 more over remaining in his spell. Plenty of action happening at the Prairie View Cricket Complex in the distance. See teams battling it out. Of course, these two in desperate need of a win.
Up!
Well, 5 overs to go here in the kill. The score is 110. 10 and over takes them exactly to 160. I think that's the minimum that they'll be looking to target.
Oh!
Much slower from Rajib. And look at the spin. Look at the spin on offer.
Ow.
Because he's bowling so slow, he's actually giving the ball time to do something off the surface. It's good bowling from Rajib.
Call tossed up, and there's the turn. Look at that prodigious turn.
This time it's full. And Akashvir Singh gets a hand on it, but he's not a tall man. And it goes over the boundary for a maximum. Matthew Trump, it's that man again.
Boy, looking at that live, it appeared that he was in about a half a yard too far. I want to see the replay again. Here we see it. He had a little bit extra room to work with, maybe. But either way, it's a good stroke by Trump. Trump gets that 6.
Well, just too full from Rajib. And after such a good previous delivery, it was good length. It spun. Matthew Trump couldn't get bad on ball. Full again this time. He hits it so powerfully because of that strong top hand, Matthew Trump.
Good stroke down the ground. And again, you're just keeping the score ticking over. 7 already from the over. 3 balls left to come. If you are Houston, you just want to make sure that that score keeps ticking.
Oh.
Good delivery again with some purchase. Have seen, Brian, this pitch begin to spin and increasingly spin as the day has gone on. We know how dry and how hot conditions are here. So as this surface dries out, get those cracks opening up just a bit more slowly as the day progresses. Something that the Houston Hurricanes will be happy about. Here's some of the wear and tear on the surface. Those foot marks playing a key part. Well, there he is, trying to go again. This time, though, the spin deceiving him. Hitting the top of the stumps, and Matthew Trump, a small cameo, but a really important, valuable one for the Hurricanes. He's put them in a really good position. He's got to depart. Just trying one too many.
Boy, you injected enthusiasm into the lineup, but that premeditated reverse sweep was his undoing. Missing the reverse sweep and being clean bowled, Matthew Trump departs 27 from 18. Score is 118 for 5.
Well, there he is. And with 5 overs remaining, this is his time. He comes in at the end of a 46-run partnership between Muneeb Chowdhury and Ashley Nurse. Some friendly words, friendly fire from Elmore Hutchinson. He's too friendly of a guy to be saying anything that would look to scare Ashley Nurse. But I can tell you, Nurse comes in with a serious mindset. Especially after yesterday, he was sent in at 3. And he didn't get many in terms of contribution for the Hurricanes. Different role for him today. One of that he's used to finish the innings off. Slow start to the tournament for Nurse. But he's a type of player. He's a born match winner. How many games have we seen? He win not only for the West Indies, but the Barbados Tridents, the year, the 2019 CPL that they won. He was an integral member in that. Start slow, huge swing. Very fortunate, that could have easily hit the off stump. And Rajab is what he's doing so well, because he's bowling so slowly, he's making the batters have to try to create their own power. This was the wicket again, looking to play that switch hit into the smaller side. Matthew Trump, because it was so slow, just deceived him. End of the over, 118 for 5.
Last 4, guys. Big 4 over, boys.
Well, this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco has produced some real thrilling encounters. We've seen some last ball finishes. Yesterday, the Hurricanes were included in one. They needed 5 from the final delivery against the San Diego Surfriders, and they lost that game.
Change here, but
it's a real heart-crushing loss for them. And because of it now, they find themselves almost a completely different position than last season. The Prairie View A&M University, not far away from us here at the cricketing facilities.
Prairie View A&M, one of the preeminent.
Hutchinson will come back into the attack. So often you see your best bowlers bowling the 17th and 19th over. He's been expensive today, even though he's picked up the wicket. Able to get one. He's pretty much played a quieter role in the last partnership with Matthew Tromp. But now I think he will have to take over. They have batting to come, Brian. What should be his approach in this partnership?
I don't think he goes into a shell. I think he looks for scoring opportunities. I also don't think that he tries to match Ashley Nurse stroke for stroke. He's doing well enough batting it right now at exactly 100 strike rates. Just needs to make sure that he doesn't eat up any dot balls.
Well, Nurse goes. That's stylish, but there is a law off in place. Katani Clark takes it. Nurse goes early again, this time without scoring. And it's been the same story for the Hurricanes. They just keep losing wickets, which breaks momentum. Very full delivery from Elmore Hutchinson.
Very full, and from around the wicket with that sidearm delivery. Lofted by Nurse, but a great catch by Katana Clark. Coming in off of the boundary, sliding, completing the catch. Score now 119 for 6.
Nurse gone without scoring. In walks the skipper Usman Rafiq. Got a score of 42. And a losing cause against the strikers. Big setback though for the Hurricanes. Ashley Nurse hasn't been the usual hard-hitting self. Actually timed that really well, but straight to Clark at long off.
Shade this way.
Highest score of 17 for Nurse in the tournament so far. Couple of no scores, one against the Mustangs, and here again.
Left arm around, 4 to come.
Usman Rafiq, captain, being asked to dig his team out of trouble here. Again, one of the 2 primary power hitters in the lineup. The third would have been Matthew Trump, but he's already dismissed. You suspect that the majority of the runs to be scored the rest of this innings will have to come from the captain himself.
Big swing and a miss from Usman Rafiq. Elmo Hutchinson looking for his 3rd wicket, finally back in the wickets, and every time he's taken a wicket, looks to the heavens. What will be in the back of the minds of the Hurricanes is that they've got a bowl to Katani Clark, the leading run scorer for this Lashings team. 193 runs in the 5 innings. An average of 38 and also a strike rate of over 140. He's going to be so crucial to dismiss early. He gets away, could be in real trouble. Down the leg side, we'll have to rebowl that one.
So important to take out the best batter in the lineup. It also happens that captain himself bats very high up the lineup, so Houston will be looking to target those 2 when it comes to the point where they're bowling. But first, they're not done. They still have runs to try to get here, because every single run that they can get here is something that they will add to in terms of the scoreboard pressure.
Gonna scalp it for 1. Chowdhury would have been gone had Dale Phillips hit. Gone by a long way as well.
Wow. Leg by signaled. We can have a look at that again if we could, because that really was, I think you're absolutely right. I think he's done.
What a huge setback that would have been. 2 wickets and a single over. Can't afford to take that risk. Around about 46 for Chowdhury. He was gone by a long way.
Oh my goodness. He was almost half the length of the pitch. Nowhere in the shot.
This time it goes in the air. It's straight up. And Chowdhury dismissed. And Elmo Hutchinson, the tall arms go in the air. It's 2 in the over. And more trouble brewing for the Houston Hurricanes. A hurricane has ravaged through this batting lineup.
Yet another body blow. The set batter is out. Having to drag that one from outside off stump. Hitting up just a little too high, missing the sweet spot on the bat. And a simple catch in the deep. Little celebration there, muted celebration, but you know that this is a true body blow. 121 for 6.
Chowdhury going for well played 46. But at this stage, they're on par to get to 146. Tonaf Wasi brought in today in place of Sucklin Hyder, suffering from injury. First game for Wasi in this tournament. A young man.
Last time I saw Tonaf Wasi, I was here, Nikhil, announcing for the Houston Youth Cricket Tournament. HYPL, Houston Youth Premier League. This is a couple steps up from that, though, for the young man.
So now the onus on Usman Rafiq, the captain. He's just come to the crease, but they need him desperately. This was the wicket again. We need Chowdhury looking to go over the top, looking to attack the smaller side. He's tried it all day, but this time holding out in the deep, knowing exactly what that wicket meant to the Lashings. End of the 17th over, 122 for 7. Well, this tells the story through the middle, real slow going, and as they look to accelerate, wickets continue to fall. Wickets have been the problem, whether at the start of the innings and now here clearly at the end. It's 3 wickets gone down since the 15th over. There were 110 for 4 going into the last 5. You thought with Nurse, with Rafiq still there in the hutch, they could easily get up to that 150. You said 160, Brian, being 80 after 12, but how the story has changed now. Trying desperately to get anywhere near to that 150 mark.
Get it.
A lot will depend on this man, Rafiq.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, it's all on the captain's shoulders now. Tonaf Wasi, his partner, the young man, and not much batting to come afterward. Captain himself, just Mohamed Elias and Josefa Ahmed to come next. Captain has to take it onto his shoulders here. Tonaf Wasi coming in for the first time in this tournament.
No one.
Very quick delivery from Akash Singh. And he's also changed the angle. He's going around the wicket now to Usman Rafiq. Sorry, to Tonaf Wasi. Right-hander, interesting change of approach now, bowling at the death.
Oh,
he was really interesting in this tournament, Akash Veer Singh. I remember taking it back to last weekend in Woodley Park, LA. He bowled the final over against the Strikers, had them so good, the Lashings, and they conceded 27 runs. Good to see, though, from Abhimanyu Rajip, the former captain. Just a word of motivation for Singh. Really toiling out there in the heat.
Interacting with him both as a former captain and as a fellow off-spinner.
Well, he hits the stump. What would be the ruling from the umpire? Akash Veer Singh, he pulled up halfway in his action and then realized that Wasi was so far out of his crease. Rushain Samuels is taking a while to thing, and there he goes. He gives him out. So Wasi, a victim of the man card. just when you thought this 2022 Toyota Minor League couldn't produce any more. There it is. He's midway in his action, realizing Wasi far down the crease. And Brian, far down the pitch, sorry, I'll say. Wasi gone, pretty much the most unorthodox way you can be dismissed.
Boy, if you are Wasi, you have to feel absolutely deflated. My goodness, man-catted, of all the ways that Houston can lose a wicket, that is the last one that they would have wanted to see.
He's gone for just one. Now here it is again. Akashvir Singh realizing midway through his action that Wasi was out of his crease. He wasn't gonna actually throw it at first, but I think he realized how far Tonaf Wasi was. Hits the stump, and of course Roshan Samuels has to give him out.
And not only was he out of his crease, he kept walking. So you have to, at that point, if you're the bowler with the ball in your hand, you have to hit the stumps.
Usman Rafiq is having a word with Abhimanyu Rajat. But what I'll say to that, it is an advantage for the batter. He's coming down the track. He can easily get to the other end if you're giving him time before the ball is actually delivered. So, yes, it's a controversial decision and it will spark some conversation, but at the end of the day, he's trying to get an advantage.
I've never understood why that's controversial. You can't just walk down and try to decrease the space that you have to run. If you're out of your crease, if the bowler still has the ball in his hand, you're out.
Many will remember. This one, squeeze two for a single. Mohammad Ilyas comes to the middle. Many will remember Ravichandran Ashwin and Joss Butler.
Yes.
The two that had a lot of conversation. That sparked so much discussion around the man-card rule. But he was out of his crease by a long, long way. So, as it might be unsportsmanlike for some people, he's clearly trying to get an advantage. Tonaf Wasi, here it is again in real time.
Turns and keeps walking.
So dismissed Wasi. Well, here it is, Usman Rafiq. And, well, even the best fielder can't stop that because he hits it. It's actually Mohammad Ilyas. Welcome to the middle, Ilyas. Not wasting any time.
Great strike. Going back to that for a second, you remember people like Chris Gale or Courtney Walsh or even Vivian Richards who had the opportunity to man-cut a bowler and they didn't. The conventional thinking in cricket usually is you have to give a warning first. There's nothing in the rule book that says that you have to give a warning. And if you as a bowler see that the batter is, or the non-striker is trying to obtain an unfair advantage, effectively you're not doing your best as a member of the opposition to not take advantage of that. You cannot just allow the non-striker to go walking down the wicket. Again, I've never understood why that's a controversial view.
Whew, it's hot in this Houston, Texas. I can tell you, Prairie View Cricket Complex has been scorching these last 4 days. But it's allowed for great action on the field. Mohammad Ilyas, well, this time, no arms to the ball. Much flatter, much quicker. Akashvir Singh ends his spell. No wickets for him. 28 runs conceded, 128 for 9. We'd love to see it between the two captains, Dale Phillips, Usman Rafiq. Just having a friendly word, friendly exchange. The Lashings, well, they had a lot to say to the Thunderbolts in the first game. So Akashvir Singh. Ending his spell. Will be the talk of the town. We've already seen it all in this minor league. You think about super overs, 3 of them. A man-card.
I was not expecting a man-card.
This Lashings team, though, seemed to surround, though, unorthodox and unexpected results. They also did a strategic retirement. This one goes straight up, and it's in the gap. Into the small side, Rafiq. If you don't know the name Usman Rafiq, you better learn it. He's a powerful hitter of the cricket ball.
Full toss. Elmore Hutchinson would have bowled several balls that are better than that one. It's a loopy full toss from outside off stump. Usman Rafiq always going to put that away.
I was mentioning before that maximum, Brian, last weekend the Lashings were also part of a new thing that we're seeing develop in modern T20 cricket, a strategic retirement, where they saw Elmore Hutchinson come in. So clearly they like to be in the talks and on Dafa News. I'm sure that story will make it. Got to check it out this evening after the day's play.
Pushing the envelope a little bit.
Rafiq goes again. This time straighter, this time better, this time 6 more.
What a clean strike. This is a better strike than the one that produced the 6 before. Sailing away well over long on, threatening the cameraman over there just above the side screen. This is a huge hit. Look at that stroke. Flying in the direction of long on and well over those signs for 6.
A couple of big hits have helped that Houston Hurricanes team to get it to past 140. They'll feel better about their position now, having something to bowl at. Remember, it was 148 that gave them all the trouble in the world to chase. Today, it could be the Lashings. A batting lineup that is very reliant on their top 3. The Hurricanes will be aware of that. So, just a change of gloves for Rafiq. 2 maximums to start. Against Hutchinson, he's not usually the expensive type.
He's not, but one was a full toss and the other was a half volley. Each of these runs are types of deliveries that can be easily scored off, especially to an Usman Rafiq or someone of that caliber. And of course, with only 8 balls, make that 10 balls to go in the innings. He has full license to go after these balls.
There it is, he's bowled in. And Elmore Hutchinson comes back and strikes. Full and at the stumps, you miss, I hit. Good delivery after being struck for 2 maximums by the senior veteran. Goes Yorker and gets the wicket.
From around the wicket, again, just spearing it in. That ball pitching just short of the popping crease. Just completely missed out on that occasion. Usman Rafiq looking to hit that to mid-wicket. It's been a 1-4, 1 for 9.
Yeah. Come on. Is that 9 down? That's 9.
Well, he was real disappointed that he missed out there, Usman Rafiq, because it was another full delivery. But this time, Elmore Hutchinson, with that angle, angling in to the batter at the stumps, is able to dismiss the captain. But if still, Brian, have 9 crucial deliveries remaining in this innings, could this be the difference? The key will be for Hovisa Ahmed, who's coming to the team today, in place of Jermaine Levine, going for the extra seam option. He's going to have to bat the remaining overs. No point wasting. Even if they get 9 signals, that still puts them past 150.
Oh, you don't ever want to get bowled out in a T20 match. And just going back to that wicket whenever we can, because I think when Usman Rafiq looks at that, he'll want to have a second, he'll want to have had a second opportunity to play that shot. Look at this. Look where he's aiming. He's aiming over mid-wicket. Similar delivery to the one that he previously hit for 6. Had he gone straight in the V, that could have been another big hit for 6. Instead, goes across the ball. And having gone across the ball, it paid the ultimate price, losing his wicket.
Piece the outside edge. Many people will look at that wicket, Brian, and they'll say that after hitting 2 6s in the over as the captain, Rafiq could have maybe played it safe. I'm going to go the other way, though. Full delivery, very similar to the first 2, where he deposited over the boundary, slapped them over the boundary for 6. This one was there, and he was going to the smaller side, Usman Rafiq, and he just didn't connect. But it's a risk you take. I'm not against that aggressive approach. There's a field in the deep. They want 2. And it's coming back. Mohamed Ilyas has to hurry. Gets there in the end.
I'm certainly not against the idea of being aggressive. I'm against the idea of playing across a straight ball. If he'd gone straight down the line in the V, similar to the 6 that ended up over the signs for Dafa News and Sunoco and Toyota, had that ball gone in that direction, here you see that attempted run out, home safely in the end. Had he gone in the same direction, keeping it in the V, he may well have had another 6.
Down to cover. Just be 1. Okay, Brian, fair play.
Well done, well
I
done.
see that. I can see that. But have to understand the intent as well. Looking to hit into the smaller onside region, trying to maximize the dimensions of the field. That will end the over. Another wicket for Hutchinson. He's expensive, but he's picked up 4.
Yep.
144 for 9. You have to say, the Hurricanes, after they really struggled to chase that 148 yesterday, slightly better with the bat today because of that partnership through the middle. First by Gaurav Bajaj and Munib Chowdhury. And one worth 31. But then Matthew Trump and Munib Chowdhury really brought some added impetus to the innings with a 46-run fifth wicket pairing and fifth wicket partnership. Sanchit Sandhu has been in the wickets this season. Just 1 wicket for 13 runs. Good economy rate for him so far in this one. Has to close it out well. First delivery, dot delivery to Sanchit Sandhu. Just looking at the field, he's got a deep cover and a third man.
I think hit the ground.
So it tells you that he will be looking to bowl those wide Yorkers like he started with to the number 11, Ahmed, and who's coming across his stumps as well. Good option, I think, by Sanchit Sandhu.
Ahmed should just be able to, or should be looking to just get back to ball and look for a single. No point in accumulating dot balls at this stage of the innings.
Pace off, and that will be the wicket and the end of the innings. Slower delivery from Sanchit Sandhu, and he gets his man. Looking to hit the pulp off of that delivery. Can't fault the number 11. It's not his job, but real pity for the Hurricanes is that they do not bat the remaining 4 overs. A cutter from Sandhu. His arm speed slowed down as well, but Ahmed only saw one thing, maximum. And in the end, just beating him with the lack of pace. So it means then that 10 wickets fall for just 144. It's less than they got to yesterday, the Hurricanes. Could it be enough? 4 overs crucially left to spare, Brian.
4 delivers left to spare, and again, just a disappointing performance thus far for Houston. Of course, the match has 2 halves, so they can still come back and try to exert the dominance with the ball, but a long way to go here, and they would have felt that they've fallen at least 15 to 20 runs short.
But the Lashings do deserve a lot of credit because they would have been now in their 2nd game of the day, fielding 2nd in the first game and now fielding 1st in the next game, so no real time for any break. But their bowlers came back really well, led by 4 wickets from Hutchinson. Abhimanyu Rajat was excellent with his 3 for 22. But here's how the innings would have unfolded for the Houston Hurricanes. Munib Chowdhury, the important thing was that someone put their hand up in the top order and someone was able to get a substantial total. Here it is again, but another disappointing showing from Ramiz Raja, Asad Shafiq, Munir Riyasat with his 2nd return of the tournament after that 95 in the first game. Matthew Trump again. This young man continues to do well. A couple of big strikes from Rafiq, but in the end, just 144 from the Hurricanes in terms of the bowling.
Boy, the bowling card just dominated by the big left-hander Elmer Hutchinson. A little bit expensive. Only one of the bowlers to go for an economy rate of more than 10, but 4 big wickets supported beautifully by Abhimanyu Rajat. 5.5 economy rate and 3 wickets. And Sanchit Sandhu coming in at the end to clean up the tail. So that represents a really disappointing effort for Houston. They'll need to come back, and we'll look at some highlights, Nikhil.
Yeah, we will. Where the Houston Hurricanes were able to have a pretty decent start. 2 boundaries off the first 2 deliveries, where Ramiz Raja was able to get a boundary. Then another one over point, but just one too many for the opponent from Pakistan in his 3rd delivery of the same over. Looking to go up over point again, this time catch taken. The Lashings made a great comeback. And it was always going to be tough losing 3 wickets in the power play for the Hurricanes. Munib Chowdhury. Well, he got big fortune in terms of his early on in his innings. A catch put down that slip by Hutchinson. He was real disappointed, had to get some treatment to that left hand. But didn't stop him from taking wickets. And short delivery was well played into the smaller side by Chowdhury. But a good partnership was developing between Asad Shafiq, who struck a big one in the leg side. The first real statement shot from him in this 2022 MILC. Followed it up with a boundary through the offside, and he was really showing his class, the class of the former international player that we're used to seeing. But then very soon after, Asad Shafiq was dismissed. Be disappointed with that. Just one down the leg side, flashed at it, and an easy catch for Dale Phillips. Big setback for Shafiq and the Houston Hurricanes, losing that wicket at 32 for 2. Gian Fernando came into the attack. Ninad Nimbalkar was able to open the face, just ride one down to third man with the third up in the circle. Nimbalkar, though, wouldn't last too long with a brilliant delivery through the gate by Abhimanyu Rajip. You could say it was the pick of the bowlers with his 3 wickets for 22 runs. Munib Chowdhury went big a couple of times, just over the head of Helmore Hutchinson. Over long on, tried to target that smaller side throughout his innings. Went again. That was the 6. That was the 6 again. And Gaurav Bajaj, well, he worked it around, played a couple good shots off the spin. Down the track, Bajaj a couple of times, got them very straight, was able to hit a boundary. There again. This time though, picked out Katani Clark, trying to go to that straight option. The wickets continue to tumble. Lucky again for Munib Chowdhury. That was put down by Dale Phillips. Always going to be a tough chance. Matthew Trump played one of those shots very well over the infield. Then a good cut, very fine, just past the gloves of Dale Phillips, but it was that same shot, that switch hit after a powerful stroke through cover, just went over Akash Veer Singh for 6. It was that same switch hit that would be to his detriment, hitting the top of the stumps. Really was disappointed he wasn't able to kick on. Ashley Nurse came and went. Picked up Katani Clark, timed it so well that Clark was able to take the catch. Real disappointment for him. Then Munib Chowdhury followed in the same over, caught on. And again, it was the same story for the Hurricanes. Akash Veer Singh, well, that was a controversial moment where he was able to man-card Tonaf Wasi well out of his crease. And in the end, umpire Roshan Samuels gave him out. Mohamed Ilyas came, hit one down the ground for a boundary. That was really all for him. Usman Rafiq, though, struck 2 big blows down the ground. That was the first. And that was the second. No, it wasn't. That was the middle stump. It was hit after those 2 sixes. Sanchit Sandhu taking the last wicket. So in the end, the Hurricanes fighting their way to 144 in the 19.2 overs. So we'll be back in just a few minutes' time for the run chase. Don't go anywhere.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
Is there
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
June 25th to the August 28th when we end this journey in Morrisville at Church Street Park. But before that, all 27 of these teams will be eyeing a place in those playoffs. To do so, you've got to win in the group stages. And for the Lashings and the Hurricanes, both with only one win in this tournament, such a pivotal game. Brian Walters alongside me.
Both teams will be very disappointed. If you're Houston, you're just experienced a really lackluster approach with the bat. But you have to forget about that now. You have to put yourself in the mind of saying, look, there are runs on the board, and it is our job to defend them. So big challenge here for Usman Rafiq and the rest of the Houston Hurricanes.
Cover in middle.
They got to 144, the Houston Hurricanes.
Pull his right arm over, but
Mohamed Ilyas with the new ball in hand. He'll be looking for early wickets for this Houston Hurricanes team. Right arm over for him with his seam. Katani Clark and Harpreet Singh, the two openers. This is interesting, actually. It's not Harpreet Singh for the first time in the tournament. It's Vashishat who comes out to the middle with Clark. And I just wonder if, because they know exactly what they're chasing and know they only need to go at 7 runs and over, they could be saving some of that power for the middle order. So Clark, the man, the leading run scorer for this Lashings team. Mohamed Ilyas with the ball in hand. First delivery, here we go. Starts on the money. The importance of this wicket. And I love this from Mohamed Ilyas, one of his qualities. First delivery, has a long stare at Katani Clark. He's not backing out. We saw it the other day, Brian, with Unmuk Chan. It doesn't matter how many runs you score coming into this game. When Mohamed Ilyas is bowling at you, what do you start at? 0. That's what he's focusing on.
You start at 0, and you're also facing a bowler who's really fired up. You see that beautiful outswinger, and you know that he has pace, so he has all the tools to be able to go up against this opening pair for SoCal.
This time, oh wow, what a comeback and what a response. Katani Clark will respond, but with the bat in hand this time. Fierce full through cover.
That is one way of being able to quiet down a fast bowler who's fired up. Just a brutal off drive. Lovely. Piercing the covers. No one close. As they say in the Caribbean, not a man move. Running away right down the hill for 4. Brilliant shot.
The best thing about that wasn't even the shot. It was the words that Katani Clark had to respond to Mohamed Ilyas with. Taking a look at the boundary soon, but it was all about the aggression, counter-attack from Clark. This is a good contest brewing between two high-quality players. Well, this time, though, pulls back the length. And here it is again, aggression in his face. Wow. Has a few words, stare down.
Oh, it is off. In fact, look who's keeping it. It's a youngster, Tanaf Wasi. Okay, take a look here. Trying to reach it, not able to get to it. And then look at the follow through. Has Ilyas ending up just a few feet away from Katani Clark. Great matchup between these two. The battles within the battle is what we're looking at.
New opening partner for Clark today. She shot his first game at the top of the order. So Vashishat, just his second game of this tournament. Again, this time driven, and it just goes past mid-off. Ashley Nurse it was, and it's another boundary. Mohamed Ilyas can't believe it. The second in the over, not a great start when you need to score at 7 runs and over.
.4.4. Boy, that has you on the charge if you are the SoCal Lashings. Seeing just elegant, just coming through, staying in the V, playing it in the V. Ashley Nurse diving to his right, not able to get to it. Not very many runs to play with if you're Houston. You cannot keep giving up these boundaries.
Well, so much for challenging Courtney Clark, running up in his face. After those 2 boundaries, I don't think we'll see much more of that, because he's just been slapped back past him for a boundary. Now pulled. Mohamed Ilyas, well, he's not backing down. A man that's played in the PSL, he won't be backing down from any contest with that cricket ball in hand. Season campaigner for this Houston Hurricanes team, a very important member to this bowling lineup, you would think. Coming into this, Ilyas, 21 first-class games, 20-60-20 wickets he's taken at the professional level. Would have been just part of that Karachi Kings setup earlier this year before he had a terrible shoulder injury which put him out of PSL 2022. Bashi shot, first game at the top for him.
Mohamed Ilyas, certainly with the pedigree, but he's being asked now to absolutely take some wickets. He needs 3 or 4 wickets in his burst to give his team a chance.
Well, again, back to where he's known for finding in terms of the length, on a shorter to good length. End of the first over, 9 for none. Excellent start for the Lashings, getting 9. Only need to get 7. Mohamed Ilyas, well, was met with aggression from Courtney Clark, a man that's been in the runs all season long. Started with 99. Here is again, he ran up in his face, had a few words for him, but Courtney Clark was equal and better to the task. Glorious cover drive. That was the first of the lot. Then the next one went down the ground and beat Ashley Nurse. So all of that aggression met this man. What a revelation he's been. What a find for the Lashings, Brian. That 99, he really shot the word. The key to him, though, that I've noticed, you cannot be full. And both of those boundaries in the first over were very full. So something for Ilyas to learn.
Absolutely. No, Ashley Nurse taking up the attack from the highway end. Ashley Nurse, the wily cage veteran, but he's going to be asked to do a huge job here and impact his team. He's going to be asked to rescue his team. Could not do it with the bat. He's now asked to do it with the ball. He definitely has the ability. Can he prize out a few wickets here at the top?
Rafiq being aggressive. They need wickets, the Hurricanes. But Clark, oh, that's just too easy. Gets away with it in the end. A very short delivery from Ashley Nurse. Good stop by Ilyas.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, boys, let's go, boys.
Ilyas. Tail is up. So it's a sort of a different stroke of aggression from Rafiq.
Oh yeah.
Much better length from Nurse. A little fuller, slightly fuller. And of course, the off spinner with the ball spinning back into Clark, forcing him to hit into the bigger side. I think Nurse will want him to pull the ball. That's why he has the deep mid-wicket in place. This time he's in the air and could be the first, and is the first. The first wicket for Ashley Nurse. And it's the big one of Courtney Clark. He didn't impact with the bat in hand, but Nurse strikes and makes an impact.
That is a big wicket. Look at the celebration. Usman Rafiq, I believe, the captain with the catch. Just here, see on the replay again, tossing it up, asking, in fact, he pulled it down short. Courtney Clark looking to cut, but only spooning it up in the air. Catch taken in the covers. Nice celebration. Courtney Clark, here another replay again.
Well, I will say this, Ashley Nurse got a bit of extra bounce there that surprised Clark, looking to hit over the infield. Look how quickly he released it.
Yep.
Ninad and Balkar, got to hold it first. Clark gone, a crucial wicket, gone for 9. 9 for 1. One New Zealander to a next. Dale Phillips comes to the middle of the captain for this Lashings team. Now I want to see how the Lashings batting lineup reacts. Haven't lost Courtney Clark very early, just hours ago. Earlier today, he got 39 at the top. Was instrumental in them getting off to 46 after 7 overs. They were 68 for 1 after 10 when Clark was dismissed. We all saw the batting collapse. So Dale Phillips, who top scored yesterday in that game against the Athletics, he'll be coming to the crease. He will have to face the Hurricanes bowling attack, who will feel very good about taking that wicket. No runs scored in this second over as yet. The length is what you should watch here. Getting some spin, so Nurse has slowed it down.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, Ashley.
Let's try to let the ball do most of the work. This is the wicket again. Extra bounce, Kateni Clark. The option wasn't bad, knowing that the fielder was in. Very quick delivery this time, so it is a maiden for Ashley Nurse. A maiden wicket, and just what Rafiq would have wanted. 9 for 1.
1, 2, 3.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
Mohamed Ilyas. Right arm over. He started the first over and was met by class from Kateni Clark, but he's gone. Different opening pair, which has already been broken. Vashishat on strike. I'm very interested at this move. Vashishat, newly brought into this team, Brian. Interested to see him at the top of the order over Harpreet Singh, who they opened with in the previous 4 games. What do you think that is?
I think the theory that you posited is accurate. You're not chasing a very big total. You're not chasing 190 or 200. So just have somebody at the top who can just essentially stay there, who can just maneuver the ball around and get singles. That alone will get you close to victory. And then, of course, you have the others to bat around. Clark is gone, of course, but Phillips is there, and just the others coming down the lineup have the ability to score quickly. But you have that stabilizing force at the top that I think will put them in good stead.
What it does allow is Harpreet Singh can come into the middle and look to attack some of the spinners, maybe outside of that power play. It gives them some more length to the batting lineup. What will be on the side of the SoCal Lashings is the fact that even though they've lost 3 out of the 4 games, they've chased 4 times. Of course, earlier today would have been the first that they batted first, so they've chased 4 out of the 6 times now, so definitely know exactly how they can go about constructing this innings. The target, 145, set by the Hurricanes.
If you are the Houston Hurricanes, you have to take wickets. Have to have people in, have to have people in catching positions. I like the slip being where he is. They need to keep attacking throughout this entire innings.
This time picked up by Dale Phillips, and if you've watched any of Dale Phillips over his career, you do not bowl length or short of a length because he's so strong off the hips with that solid base. Underway, Dale Phillips with a boundary with a 6 make that.
Oh, just swiveling, almost pulling that off the front foot, almost like he knew it was coming. But Phillips, here we go again on the, well, no replay, but
the one thing to watch here, Dale Phillips, much like his brother Glenn Phillips, anything
off the
on
front foot,
a length, he will hit square, and especially the fact that that's a smaller square boundary. So Mohamed Ilyas has got to be much fuller. He's used to bowling at these type of players. Liam Livingston gave him real problems in that PSL earlier this year for the Karachi Kings. So got to be very precise, a little bit fuller. There he is, right there, allowing the ball to do a bit as well. Does have some pace on him, Mohamed Ilyas.
He certainly has pace. I don't mind the short ball. I'd like to see a genuine bounce or something up around the head or shoulders. This is just a half tracker that just got plowed over mid-wicket for 6. But I like seeing him aggressive. I want to see him consistently find, here we see on the replay again, much better delivery. But coming at the stumps, being aggressive. That's what I want to see him doing. I don't want to see any more half trackers unless it's a genuine bouncer.
Certainly has the pace to bowl that length. Again, on a good length. Has to hurry. Dale Phillips gets there in the end. Brian, yesterday, you mentioned Roshan Primus. You thought he gets up to 88 and 89 miles per hour. What does the Jamaican speed gun say about Mohamed Ilyas?
He is not 88, 89 miles an hour. I'd give him low 80s, low 80s. I would give him 83 at the most, maybe 82.
The speed gun, Brian's Jamaican speed gun. I don't know where he's randomizing these speeds from. End of the over, 18 for 1. A lot on the captain, Dale Phillips. Going with a change of an approach. You look at what's to come for the Lashings. Skander with Sharma. Not much though in terms of with the bat in hand. Zoeb Ahmad expected to come in next. Ashinur has picked up a wicket and yet to concede a run. See how much that heat is affecting players out there. I like the move though by Rafiq, bringing him from this end, forcing the batters to hit into the big side. But Nurse has to be very careful, because if he goes short to Dale Phillips, it doesn't matter big or small boundary, he'll back himself to take him on square. That could be possibly what the Hurricanes want with a deep mid wicket in place.
Phillips, of course, the non-striker to start the over.
Starts on the money. Did see Abhimanyu Rajat bowl very well. The off-spinner picked up 3 wickets. Akash Veer Singh as well. So Ashley Nurse would have seen that. 3 off-spinners in this Hurricanes lineup. Usman Rafiq, the captain. Another swing and a miss.
Go boys, go boys, go boys.
Captain Usman Rafiq will have an important part to play.
Yes, buddy.
Single. Bashisha, has been a slow start from him.
Come on, boys, come on, boys. Good fielding when you're there.
Good pressure being built here by Nurse. 9 consecutive deliveries bowled in his spell so far without conceding a run. He's already taken 1 wicket.
It's across a long way. Nurse asked the question. It's another dot delivery though. And all of a sudden that asking rate is going up, sneaking up to 8 and over. Definitely came a long way across.
He's under pressure, yeah, fellas.
Stepped outside the line. Definitely missing. Well, definitely outside the line. This time it's another one for Nurse. A quicker one. And again coming across. Ashley Nurse strikes. Hits the top of the stumps, and Vashisha has got to go. Nurse has got a second.
Moving right across again, trying to whip that away to the leg side. Moving over too far. Here's the delivery from Nurse. Tossed up, moving right across. Completely missing and taking out the top of middle and leg. So Nurse has now taken 2 wickets, has yet to concede a run. He's getting exactly what his captain has asked him for. Score is 18 for 2.
But my oh my, this could be the master stroke from Usman Rafiq. Ashley Nurse opening the bowling today for the Hurricanes. Already picked up 2 and yet to concede a run. That's what you want from your match winners. Skander with Sharma comes to the middle, the young under-19 player in this Lashings team.
Well, we've spoken before about runs on the board. There is a certain amount of pressure that is added when you're knowing that you have to go chase those runs. You have to go get them. And particularly, if there's a formula to be written that includes the team that is defending a low total winning, it includes taking quick wickets at the top of the order. Ashley Nurse, your most experienced bowler, one of the most experienced bowlers in the side. Has already taken 2 wickets and not conceded a run. So he's doing exactly what his captain is asking him for.
Well, this is Nurse again, realizing that Vashishat's coming a long way across, just targeted the stumps. Simple you miss, I hit. Nurse second wicket and yet to concede a run with 1 delivery remaining in the second over. The question will be for Rafiq, does he continue in the power play?
Oi!
First runs off of Nurse, but an excellent over, wicket and a run. 19 for 2.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, तेरे घर लाने का।
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
What are you saying? No, you got to you're comfortable.
Well, the scorching heat, clear skies, and a great day for cricket at the Prairie View Cricket Complex. Brian Walters, a native of Texas by now. How do you guys manage this heat? 99 degrees at the moment.
99 degrees, you just have to become accustomed to it. We here in the south and southeast Texas area just know that this time of the year, somewhere between May and October, it will always be something close to this. The only thing that changes things is if there's a weather system that comes in off the Gulf. But apart from that, this is just what we have to get accustomed to.
Change of bowling, Matthew Tromp. Well, this young man, over the 4 days, hasn't been fazed by any heat. Regardless of the temperature, he's brought his own heat to things. 88 runs as well as 6 wickets. Maybe that's why the place has been so hot, because he's lit this 2022 Toyota Minor League on fire. Again, just teasing outside the off stump. We did see Suckling Hyder come up to the stumps of Matthew Tromp. Tonaf Wasi now is at the stumps to start. But he starts well, collects it cleanly.
That is a big move. Tonaf Wasi, the youngster, keeping up to the paces is not something that is very easy. It's really impressive to see that he's still doing that, looking to keep the batter quiet. Sharma, it is 1 from 2 so far. Trump continuing his work.
I can tell you, Brian, Tonaf Wasi in his first game, I've tried my hand behind the stumps in my playing days, and it was not a very easy job. So not only is Wasi, I used to have about at least 10 buys in innings, my school coach could tell you, Brian. So not only is Wasi in his first game in the scorching heat, he's at the stumps as well. The young man, good to see, facing Trump.
Well, Nikhil, you would have been the tallest keeper ever to play cricket. The typical keeper somewhere around 5'6", 5'7". I guarantee you, you're a foot taller than the average.
Well, the thing is, the keeping came before the height. You see, Wasi's not the tallest of men. So, going to your point, Suckling Hyder, he's replaced, who's missed out from injury. What an innings from Hyder yesterday, 56, would be real disappointed. He's not able to contribute. He's going back now, of course, after all of that praising for being at the stump. Wasi says, no, 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 you guys have got it wrong. Slip in place. Matthew Tromp to Skanda Sharma. And instantly, with the keeper back, Skanda Sharma able to come down the track and look to get close. But this is a good spell of bowling from the Hurricanes. Ashley Nurse set it up with 1 run and a wicket from the last. Just 1 run has been scored. Well, 2 runs now from the last 10 deliveries. That's what you have to do. That pressure getting to them. The required rate now past 8 and over. Phillips unable to penetrate the point. Asad Shafiq. He could have a part to play, Brian, with the ball in hand. He's been in the wickets, Shafiq. Taken 5 so far in the tournament.
one of your more experienced players in the lineup. You'd think that somebody like him has been in situations like this before.
Down the leg side. Actually, no, it split the stumps and went to the gap between Phillips and the stumps. So could have easily hit that leg stump. Fortune for Dale Phillips. End of a good first over from Trump, 20 for 2.
Looking good, Was.
Well, another miserable start for the Lashings. Two teams begging for a win in this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. Katani Clark went early. That was a huge wicket then.
Let's go,
Last to go.
One wicket here, fellas.
Dale Phillips, a lot on the captain. He'll know how important he is. Usman Rafiq opting to bring himself into the attack after just 2 overs from Nurse. Interesting decision.
That's coming to you, Ashley.
Rafiq, the captain. But Brian, here's where the pressure is on the Lashings. Ashley Nurse was brilliant for the first time opening the bowling today. The first, getting the important Katani Clark, the leading run scorer for the Lashings. That was caught at cover. And then Vashishat, the new opener, coming across his stumps, hitting the top of middle. Excellent work by our production crew to have those two. But he's taking him off the attack, Usman Rafiq. This is an interesting call.
I heard when you implied that you were asking the question earlier as to whether or not you keep Ashley Nurse on. I would be inclined to keep him on.
Yes, buddy.
The person who seemed most likely to take wickets has been Nurse himself. I would not have minded giving him one more over.
Rafiq backing himself.
Chalo.
Spinning into the right-handers. Side will have to rebowl that one. Looking to fire it in much quicker to Skandar Sharma. Man who can bat, but has only mustered 32 runs in 6 innings. This being his 6th, so work to be done for the young man at number 4.
Oh, yeah.
A good stop at cover.
Saved runs there. No one backing up behind him.
Proper test chal raha hai.
So you keep the young man on strike. He's now 2 from 8. You keep that pressure building. There.
Just ran it. Another dot delivery. You can see the energy is up a level in the field for the Houston Hurricanes. They're up and ready for this challenge.
Boys.
Last 3 overs now. They've only scored 2 runs since that second wicket went down, since the loss of Vashishat. So Dale Phillips has 1 wicket here. And he just sends pressure on the captain for the Lashings. Another defensive shot. Really good stuff from Rafiq. Still 1 delivery remaining, just the 1 wide in the over.
10 dots already.
With every dot delivery, the asking rate climbing.
Oi, 1-1 is
Finally
fine.
gets it in the gap, Skandar Sharma, but there's protection in the deep. Excellent stuff from the Houston Hurricanes to close up the power play. A successful one for them. 22 for 2.
Let's soak up some more balls, lads. Good power play, boys. Brilliant power play, boys.
How about that comparison, Brian? Way off from where the Hurricanes were, that blue line.
Bearing in mind that the far top right side of your screen shows those several 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots. Those dots make a big difference as to how accurate how much the worm is climbing. Even though for the SoCal Lashings, exactly that worm has leveled off and starting to create some space between the two. But if you're the Houston Hurricanes, you want to make sure that that continues. Asking right now to 8.79. That continues to build the pressure, and you wonder if that continuance of the pressure building is something that will start impacting the SoCal Lashings in ways that they're not comfortable with.
a wicket coming. I can see a wicket coming.
Matthew Trump again for his second over.
Another dot. Dot पे dot. हमारे लिए खेल रहा है यहाँ पे.
Tonaf Wasi very animated behind the stumps. Good to hear that from the young
Playing
man.
for us, mate.
So Matthew Trump.
One.
Now, again, looking to work it into the onside. So Dale Phillips,
let's get
the
this
captain,
wicket here,
well,
man.
Brian, you think a man that's had some starts, the second leading run score behind Katani Clark for the Lashings, how
Big
important would he be
responsibility on the
now with
captain's
2
shoulder
early
here,
wickets
fellas.
falling? He could just sense something waiting to give.
Oh
Again,
yeah,
held up
one
delivery.
more
This is
dot,
good
one
bowling
more
from the
dot.
Houston Hurricanes.
Phillips' wicket is
boys.
extremely important. Both
Both
sides
of
will
them
know
are
that.
playing for us.
Phillips will know that he cannot
Jersey
give it away
colours are
to
also
those
the
men
same, fellas.
deep mid-wicket and square leg. He'll want to make sure that he doesn't give them catching practice. And then Houston absolutely knows that if they bowl the right way to
come on, yeah.
Phillips, keeping him quiet, then we'll be able to find something.
On the leg side. Matthew Trump.
Yeah. Bat 6 से run लेना है यहाँ पे. Only pads helping them out
Brian,
today.
you can hear Tonaf Wasi, very animated in the stump mics. Love to hear that from a young man, and also tells you the body language of the Hurricanes team.
One wicket, yeah.
I love the exuberance of youth, and for someone who is in the side for the first time and who's the youngest member of the squad, you like to see him being the verbal cheerleader, if you will, for the team. That's a really, really good sign and demonstrates leadership, even at his young age.
Oh, look at this from Skandarwart Sharma. He's been very quiet for a long time, but he'll get a boundary. Much needed for the SoCal Lashings. They've got to come from somewhere, the runs.
Unbelievable shot, stepping inside the line and just kind of helping that over his shoulder. You see on the replay, just actually going down and scooping it, ending up on his keister, as they say. The ball running away over fine leg for 4. Oh, I love to hear that the umpires immediately saying the over is not yet finished. Get off the field with the water. I love that from the umpires.
Oh, the umpires, he's being very harsh, Brian. This is immense heat. We are inside.
They can wait one more ball. This is absolute great management from the umpires. I absolutely love that from Colin Edwards.
Brian, you're a hard taskmaster. We have got to put you in the sun for 3 hours. Coming back for 2, Skandarwart Sharma, got to hurry, gets there in the end. Good running and a good throw hitting direct as well. All happening in that over. End of 7, 30 for 2.
Boys, keep turning around, boys.
Let's go, boys. Let's go. One here. Keep talking here, fellas. 7:30, boys.
Matt, stay up.
I heard England plays faster test cricket than this, boys. Come on, lads. Never saw Kiwi do monk up, bro.
What?
Come on, man. Where's gonna get you monk up? I don't know they're gonna do it. It's okay, I didn't even get a warning. That's the problem. Neither.
Well, good things unfolding here for the Houston Hurricanes.
Glenn Phillips, brother. Yeah.
Tonaf Wasi having
Let's go
a
get
few
this
words,
wicket here, fellas.
not only of encouragement, but having some words to Dale Phillips as well, trying to get in the mind.
Dots here, boys.
He won't be very phased by that, Dale Phillips. Knows his team. They're not out of this. They're far from out of it, really. You still bat a team with just 115 more needed. 8 wickets in hand. Shafiq to continue.
That's a great take. He would have been momentarily blinded by the attempted reverse sweep. by Phillips. Good work by the youngster. Take a look at this. They're momentarily blinded, but still able to take control and keep the ball in.
Oi, one only.
Don't mind that if you're the Hurricanes. Not only is it just a single, but it's also able to get the danger man, Dale Phillips, off strike. You think if they can continue to take wickets from the other end, it puts even more pressure on the captain. He'll know with the wicket of Clark.
Every 4 overs they'll hit a boundary, bro.
Gone. They can really try to
chasing
attack.
40 here, fellas. One, Levi.
Coming back for 2, wants to, but smartly sent back.
Great throw. Tanaf Wasi just going overboard in terms of being able to keep his guys in the game mentally and give the batters something to think about. Just mental disintegration taking place here. This is wonderful to witness.
When you think about wicketkeepers in the World game that are very animated behind the stumps, you think about Rishabh Pant, Tim Payne. Those two had some real good banter in that Australia-India Test series. Tanaf Wasi's clearly watched and taken note. Another good take by Wasi, but something happening. That one went the other way. Usman Rafiq, he's got that leg break option.
Let's go, lads.
Last batsman
here, bet.
That one definitely spun the other way. The off spinner, you can clearly see out the side of the hand. Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Another good delivery, another dot to end the over. End of 8, 32 for 2.
What if I tell you the easiest way to maximize your tax savings, get bookkeeping done, and having a better financial position in the market is to call 1-800-250-8596. So what are you waiting for? Just pick up the phone and call us now.
Well, of course, this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco, it's been a real treat as the curtain closes on a fantastic holiday weekend here in Houston, Texas. The second weekend of not only the minor league, but of also premium coverage brought to you on Willow TV and the MLC Network. Next weekend, join us in Morgan Hill for a blockbuster
Come on, lads.
clash. 4 coming your way next week, Saturday and Sunday. You don't want to miss that. Gonna have withdrawal symptoms going the whole week without action from this minor league. We've been really privileged to have this type of cricket, this level of cricket over the last 4 days. 2 games coming to you every day. And this weekend, Brian, you don't want to miss these fantastic fixtures. We'll have a chance to see, next week Saturday, the East Bay Blazers up against the Golden State Grizzlies. That's going to be a top clash. And then the Strikers, the defending champions, up against the San Diego Surf Riders.
Chalo, boys, chalo.
That Silicon Valley Strikers squad is just looking complete and looking dominant. Every game we've seen them in so far this weekend.
Dale Phillips has been happy to just rotate the strike early on. When is going to be that period though, Brian, that time where he decides that he's got to go? At some stage with that rate, now at 9.5, you think these 4 run overs aren't going to cut it?
You're exactly right. The overall run rate is just above 4. 4.08 is really crawling.
One.
It's clipped into the outfield for a single. So they're at the stage now, I would think that Phillips would have to start thinking, okay, the overall run rate required is sneaking up toward 10. It's time for me to start shifting through the gears. So I anticipate with only 3 balls remaining here in the 9th, that this is the time that he'll start moving forward.
Another dot delivery from Dale Phillips struggled 10 from 18 so far, but the key thing is he's still in the middle. And you think,
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
if they are to get over the line here, the Lashings,
Very fine.
he's going to have to play a big part. It's not only been, though, slow from these two, but it's also you have to give credit to the Hurricanes. They bowled extremely well. First, Nurse with his one run conceded in 2 overs and 2 wickets. Now followed up with Matthew Trump and Usman Rafiq. Oh, almost got some bat on that. Another good take from Tonaf Wasi.
What a take by Wasi. Up, keeping again up to the pace bowler. Look at this. Absolute brilliance. Ball snaking back in and taken beautifully by Wasi outside off stump.
Tell you what, I'm impressed by Tonaf Wasi. He stepped up in a big way. Had a big role to fill with Sacklin Hyder and how important he is to this Houston team. Just misses his run up there, Matthew Trump. Even though he hasn't picked up a wicket, Trump, he's been fantastic to just go up 4 runs and over in his first 3. Has to close the over out well, though. They've done so well to keep the pressure on the Houston Hurricanes. Does just that. Has to hurry. Keeper's end. Could be run out. Gets there in the end. End of 9, 36 for 2.
Boys. 36 of 9.
Good.
But this is how things have unfolded so far. 36 in 9 overs. Very slow start for the Lashings, but they'll know that they have the power of Elmo Hutchinson and others to come. Ashley Nurse, just 2 overs from him. You're seeing correctly 1 run and 2 wickets. Less than a run per over conceded. He's still got 2 up his sleeve. Usman Rafiq to go to. Asad Shafiq, the off spinner, will come into the attack for the first time today. I've seen spin, especially from this end. You look at the first game between the Surf Riders and the Thunderbolts. Sorry, the Lashings and the Thunderbolts. The Surf Riders played yesterday. But you look at that first game, pretty much all the spin was bowled from this highway end. So clearly a lot of purchase bowling from this end. And Shafiq, the off spin, he's picked up 5 wickets so far. Hasn't really been there with the runs, but definitely has contributed, bringing that arm over Asad Shafiq. Almost in the air to Munib Chowdhury. Get through for the quick single.
You mentioned purchase from this end, and yes, I agree. Obviously, you mentioned it also earlier that the other element to bringing the spinners from the highway end is to make sure that any big hits from the off spinners are coming into this direction, which is the larger, the bigger side of the field, which is a harder boundary to clear.
Rafiq has bowled really well himself, the captain. 2 overs for him. He's out of the attack and gone to another off-spinning option. So he's got 3 to work with. A lot of off-spin in this Hurricanes team. 2 is the call, but it's going to be only a single. I don't know if you remember, Shem Holder was part of this Hurricanes team last year, the off-spinner from Barbados. So he's another void that they've had to fill. Man that's played first class cricket for the Barbados Pride this season. He replaced Ashley Nurse when he went off to the CPL. Nurse, of course, back for the full season this year.
Yep.
Won't mind this at all, the Hurricanes. No boundaries scored in the last 5 overs. They're keeping things very tight at the moment. Dale Phillips, who's an aggressive player, since that maximum, he hit off the pace of Ilyas. No boundaries scored, and that's why the runner is stuck at 4.
This is just great bowling for Houston. Absolutely turning the screws, putting the pressure back on the Lashings.
Down the track again, Skandar Sharma, but every time he's come down the track, he's taken the surprising route and not opted to
every ball here, boys.
go over the top. And I think Dale Phillips now is going to have a word with him because he realizes he's got to up the ante at some stage.
You want to tell him to try a scoop now?
Well, he does just that. Reverse sweep. And it will get into the boundary. They needed that. The SoCal Lashings. Dale Phillips just came down to have a word. Probably that he needed to kick into the 2nd gear. And an excellent piece of batting from Skandar Sharma.
Damn, I picked it right.
Clearly, they've identified Asad Shafiq as the part-timer, one that they can attack.
Well, let's see if that continues. third man still inside the boundary. I'm sorry, I'm still inside the circle. And so there's a lot of space over there behind point on the offside if you're so inclined. Here again, the replay, just that reverse sweep being deployed. Once it got past that man, always 4.
1-1-1-1,
Skandarat Sharma showing that with time at the crease, he can sort of look to increase the intensity. Wanted to, will just be a single.
Oh, yes.
1 to end the over, 44 for 2 after the 10. But just 10 overs remain in this clash. 10 overs remain in this holiday weekend as we wind down here at the Prairie View Cricket Complex. That's the comparison after 10. The Hurricanes were well in front, 71 for 3. They did lose their way after the 16th over. But I think what the Lashings will have on their side, they know exactly what they're chasing. They also have some power to come.
What would be concerning for the Houston Hurricanes is the fact that that red worm, even though it's below the blue worm, which is a good thing, there are only 2 dots on that red worm. And so plenty of wickets in hand. You mentioned the likes of Elmore Hutchinson still to come. This team actually has the ability of being able to make up runs very quickly. So you like the fact, if you're Houston, that the required rate is now above 10. Keeping SoCal scoring only at the rate of 4.4, but a long way to go, and you want to keep taking wickets. Not only good enough to just restrict the scoring, because if they still have wickets in hand, SoCal, they can open up at any point and go for the runs.
Well, this is very interesting. Hufiza Ahmed comes into the attack, the new bowler, the man that was brought back into the lineup today. Just 1 over bowled against the Blasters. He went for 22 runs, so we'll have to get it right, especially with all the hard work that they've done. Since the 5th over, they've only scored 24 runs, these 2 in the middle, so you have to be careful that 1 over doesn't swing the pendulum back in the SoCal Lashings' favor.
It's a huge move. Left armor. He's going to be asked now to play a really big role. Has to keep it under a run of ball.
Starts with a good delivery. Very hard for Skandarat Sharma to hit from that length. I can tell you, though, you don't want to be there to Dale Phillips.
No.
Hitting into the smaller side, Dale Phillips will back himself to take over Mohamed Ilyas at deep mid-wicket.
Just a good delivery in terms of the line from Ahmed. But he'll want to be a little bit fuller the next time.
He'll back himself to take on that boundary, Dale Phillips. Almost answered the question. It's a bit of extra bounce, but I was just showing that mid-wicket region because we saw Phillips already hit 1 maximum there. And anything short, if it's straight at him with that strong base, 2 fielders there, but I can tell you, not a big distance to make up for a man of the power of Dale Phillips. Times it so well. Ninad Nimbalkar and Matthew Tromp patrolling the leg side boundary.
If you're Phillips, does have to be thinking at this stage, more than half of the overs are gone. We're not yet gotten to 50 runs. Now is when I need to go. This is who I need to attack.
You can hear through the stump mics. What is Dale Phillips telling Skandarat Sharma? Push, push, push. He knows the importance now with that asking rate going past 10 and over. Something has got to give. It doesn't necessarily need to be too risky, but he's been up there for a long time, Dale Phillips, and also very experienced, so knows exactly how he should handle this situation.
Sharma, 20 from 23. Striking at a rate of 86.96.
Another single. Skandarat Sharma's playing this well, playing this situation well. Happy to get Dale Phillips back on strike. The last couple of overs have been a clear difference in intent. Sorry, Dale Phillips, 14 professional T20s for him.
Absolutely do not mind those singles if you are the Houston Hurricanes and Captain Usman Rafiq. You get the sense that Phillips will be eyeing a big hit here in this over within one of these next 2 balls.
Great adjustment by Ahmed. Phillips came across his stumps. Run out chance as well for Tona Fawasi, but he got there in the end. Trying to hit it into the onside. Well bowled by Ahmed to push it across. He's started really well, Hufisa Ahmed.
It really was well bowled because Phillips came advancing down the wicket, getting ready to hit the big shot, but not able to get there and see Tanafwasi. That would have already been home anyway. It didn't make a difference in terms of the run out. But that pressure continuing to build, required rate now up to 10.58.
Using his quick legs, Skandarat Sharma to his advantage. Only got 4, but better intent this over. Again, runs it down to third. Short third in the circle. Will be another single. 5 from the over. 49 for 2.
What if I tell you the easiest way to maximize your tax savings, get bookkeeping done, and having a better financial position in the market is to call 1-800-250-8596. So what are you waiting for? Just pick up the phone and call us now.
So Shafiq, first over was a good one. Slightly expensive, went for 9. That was because Skandarat Sharma was able to use some innovation.
Sorry, Trump. So much, no one wants to talk.
Well, Brian, Ashley Nurse picked up 2 wickets with that new ball in the power play and has only conceded 1 run. It's going to be critical to see when Rafiq goes back to his strike bowler. Matthew Trump as well. Expect him to come back into the attack very soon. But Shafiq will continue. Goes again. Man up in the circle. Does well to cut it off this time. Didn't quite get the execution. But you can see the intent from Skandarat Sharma. Trying to beat that fielder in the circle yet again.
Let's go, boys.
Completely. And the question you asked regarding Ashley Nurse.
High risk, no reward, yeah?
Expect, as you see the reverse sweep, a little casual there by Ahmed going for it with one hand. But I expect that you'll give reward Ahmed with 1 more over before you decide going back to Nurse.
Well, this time cut. And Dale Phillips, a rare boundary for him. But he's still there battling for his team. That will help their cause. The SoCal Lashings needing to go at 10.5. Already 5 from the first 2 deliveries.
10.5. Here's the replay. Maybe just a touch too wide. And Phillips staying leg side, creating enough room, cutting it past that man. On the boundary for 4, on the edge of the circle rather for 4. Just another look at it, just completely cutting it away. Good work by Phillips. Phillips now, of course, being able to have the skill to be able to maneuver the field around. Let's see what sort of a comeback Shafiq has to that scoring delivery, scoring shot rather.
We look at in terms of what's to come. Rafiq, the captain himself, he's got 4 overs of off spin remaining between Nurse and Rafiq. Expect that to be 4 of the remaining 8 overs after this. Matthew Trump as well. I think he will come back into the attack very soon for this Houston Hurricanes team. The young fella. Boy, has he been a standout. It's both 3 overs.
Do the grid now. Off stump off. Catch!
This time down the track. Skandarat Sharma's clearly like to use his feet.
All along you expect, you mentioned the bowlers. Mohamed Ilyas, of course, don't forget, has 2 left. I would expect him to bowl numbers 17 and 19.
Matthew Trump there will have a part to play with the ball in hand.
1.
Pushing for 2, that's no, they won't get there. So Trump, of course, I do expect also to come back. Trump and he still has 1 over left.
Listen to this, Brian. He has 1 over, he's conceded 13 runs. I'm predicting, don't ask me how, that Matthew Trump bowls the next over. We'll wait and find out.
That is a very intelligent prediction.
This time in the air, just over the head of Ashley Nurse. He was in with a real chance. Dale Phillips wants to run out chance here.
Oh my!
I think it may have just touched the stumps on the way through. I see the lights.
Oh no!
Just flashing on the stumps. Ramiz Raja, had he hit there, Dale Phillips, the danger man, could have been gone. He wanted to as soon as it was hit. Oh, that was close. Ramiz Raja can't believe it.
It actually hit but did not dislodge the bails. See, the stump is flashing, which means that there was contact with the ball, but the bails did not come off. So even had he been short, it still would not have been adjudged out. That is a really interesting occurrence that just happened.
Crazy end to the over. So, Hufisa Ahmed, after a good over. Sorry, I said Matthew trumped the ball the next over, Brian. I meant the next over from the highway end. Of course, Hufisa Ahmed. A good start for him. Full delivery. Just punched down to the offside. Hufisa Ahmed, well, after that one over against the Blasters on Friday, went for 22 runs. He was then left out on Saturday and back in the team today. Always good to see a good comeback from your seamer.
I'd also prefer to see him bowling from the highway end for the same reason that the off spinners bowl from this end. But having said that, he's shown great competency thus far, very economical with his overs thus far.
Picked up by Skandar Rohit Sharma. It's been a good innings by Rohit Sharma, to be honest. He's a man that struggled as one of the under-19 players with the bat in hand. Just 32 runs coming into this, but the way he's batted this situation, and yes, you see that run rate required slowly creeping up. The key, though, Brian, is that they have 8 wickets in hand, and likes of Elmo Hutchinson and others who can strike it. But the Hurricanes won't be too upset about this, the way that they've been able to control things.
This is good bowling by Ahmed. Just generally keeping it, you know, the very first delivery of his spell to Sharma was a little bit too short. We said at that time that he should not bowl that length to Phillips, but everything else has been just short of driving length and just on that off-stump line with the left arm over angle. So if he keeps that, that's the best way of being able to keep these two silent, and that gives you the options then of asking Phillips and Sharma to go after the off-spinners, which I think they prefer not to have to do.
This time in the offside, well cut off by Ashley Nurse. Skandar Rohit Sharma took off straight away. Dale Phillips wasn't so sure. Luckily got an awkward bounce in front of Nurse. Scampered for one, but 4 singles in the over. Pressure on. Asking rate gone up to 11.18. 82 needed now from 7.2 overs.
Asking rate climbing, let's see. Yes, no, which means that that urgency is being built between these two. They're starting to feel the pressure of having to accelerate their scoring rate.
Looking again to go into that strong leg side region. We've seen it throughout this weekend, especially for these games played on this surface. Now, this was not really the surface that was supposed to be used today, but it was used because it's played well. That green grass has held it together nicely, but because it's on the far left of the ground, it's the furthest left pitch. It means that batters are targeted the smaller side, and that's the leg side for Phillips, something we saw Munir Chowdhury try to do. And Dale Phillips, because he's so strong, the 5th and farthest left, looking to hit into that onside. Fantastic camera work again by our 2 guys in the sun. Again, that one getting a bit of extra movement off the surface. A dot to end, 2 dots to end, that is. End of 13, 63 for 2. Well, the over-by-over comparison, I must say, I'm acknowledging on air, I was wrong about my prediction. And what I'll say is the reason I made that prediction, I sneakily heard Usman Rafiq have a small word with Trump telling him to bowl. Clearly, he's had a change of heart. It's okay, I've got many things wrong in my career so far. Ashley Nurse, though, right about that. 2 wickets in 2 overs, back into the attack. Looking to break this partnership, I like the move from Rafiq.
A proactive move. Let's see if it works out.
Yeah! There it is. Not only does it work, it's a wicket straight away. And again, a batter trying to come across. Nurse strikes. He doesn't make an impact with the bat in hand today, Brian. But boy, has he done it with the ball.
Full and straight. Very little reaction from Nurse, which shows how important he knows this is. Getting right across, absolutely right across, was the batter on that occasion, Sharma, completely exposing his stumps. Walking over. Now the wicket falls. Score is 63 for 3.
Well, a good innings from Skandarat Sharma. His best of the tournament comes to an end. It will be disappointed. And that man again, the man with the golden arm, you could say. Ashley Nurse, right away back into the attack, has got his 3rd wicket. Just wonder if they go on to win this, the Hurricanes, he could play a big part. He's still got 11 legal deliveries to bowl in this spell. Could he prize a couple more wickets? It was an interesting option, Brian, for Skandarat Sharma. He likes to play those sweeps, trying to play with the spin. Ball spinning into him, comes a long way across. Almost carbon copy to Vashisha and his dismissal.
You're exactly right. This ball may be just a touch fuller.
Come on, boys. Come on,
But
boys.
I agree, an interesting approach. The first time that he would have seen Ashley Nurse bowl, he chose to walk right across the stumps and try to sweep him.
Yep.
Well, Ahmad, who batted at number 4 in the last game, comes to the middle, 1 down, number 5 for his team.
Yeah, boys, come. Keep talking
Off the
inside.
mark straight away.
Come on, come on.
Here's the matchup of the day, though. Ashley Nurse against Phillips.
This time through extra cover. That is glorious. Enough said.
Wow. Just an amazing shot over extra cover. Phillips just, again, economy of movement. At some point we'll be able to see how spectacular this was. Look at this shot.
And the key thing about this innings from Dale Phillips, he struck at less than 100, but what a shot that is. Through extra cover, knew it straight away into the smaller side. We keep mentioning the dimensions of the field. Matthew Trump was in the circle. Once he got it over that man, he knew it would be a boundary. So Nurse, for the first time today, went all the way for 6. So clearly went over that offside boundary. Just think, is this the period where Dale Phillips takes over this game? Another full delivery. Brave option by Nurse. Clearly trying to get that bit of extra spin.
Certainly looking for the spin. This ball was a lot fuller than the previous delivery, though. That previous one was really a half volley. This was much closer to the Yorker length. He's able to punch it down the ground for a single.
Just one from Ahmad. Doing the right thing. Getting Dale Phillips. You want him facing the majority of deliveries. But the asking rate touching 12 now. He doesn't have the luxury, Dale Phillips, of trying to stick around here. He's got to score. Another single down the ground, but a really good over from Nurse. He gets the wicket. He doesn't mind conceding the 10 runs from it. 73 from 3.
We see the worm again. That red worm sneaking upward. Worried if you are the SoCal Lashings that there's that dot at the end of the worm. But you'll be pleased by the fact that Captain Glenn Phillips is still there. Now look who's bowling again. This is going to be
Sufisa Ahmed.
Ahmed to get a third over. Bit of a roll of the dice. Would you keep him on?
Yeah, I think he deserves it. 2 overs for 9 runs. He's bowled really well. From the very first delivery, you could just tell something had changed about his bowling. The second game for him. Edged, but no slip in place. Heartbreak for the Hurricanes. All of a sudden, Dale Phillips looking more dangerous. Boundary for the Lashings, scoring rate increasing.
I don't know that you'd have had a slip in place in that position. You're looking to be more defensive right now if you're Houston. I love the left arm over angle. That edge just a little too wide for Tanafwasi to get to. Runs away for 4.
Yeah, hard luck for Ahmed because not a terrible delivery for Husifa Ahmed. But nothing you can do about that. Third man up in the circle. Dale Phillips, though with that 6, now a 4, looking like he's upping the ante. Has to score for this Lashings team. What has been so good for them? It's either been Clark or Phillips every game. Good stop at point. Excellent stop by Shafiq, a very good fielder. In every game, Brian, for the SoCal Lashings, yes, they've only won 1. If Kateni Clark, the leading run scorer, hasn't stepped up, it's been the captain, Dale Phillips.
One of those 2 has had to fire. Tell you what, the Houston Hurricanes would have been in a much better spot right now had Dale Phillips been dismissed several overs ago, because he now feels like he's set. He's now striking it at just under 100, and he's looking to push on from here. He is the reason why they're close.
Another dot ball. Ahmad unable to get that through. Well, 5 overs remain after this. Business end of this innings. After 14 overs, the Hurricanes, they were 102 for 4, so still very much ahead of the Lashings.
See that replay going down the leg side. Off the pad it appears, off the batter. Phillips, no, not Phillips rather, that is
Ahmad.
Ahmad. Off his pad and running away, well kept by Tanafwasi. Tanafwasi is really doing a good job, not only with the motivation of the side.
This time in the air from Ahmad, and would you believe it, it goes all the way for a maximum. Well, that's what they needed. Where did he bring that from? First sign of real aggression from Ahmad, and that will help take some of that pressure off of Phillips.
Zoeb Ahmad with a tremendous strike. Looking at it live, it appeared that it was just a little too straight. Here we see, yep, a little too straight. Wants that ball to be more toward off stump. This is targeted at middle and leg from over the wicket, so much cleaner hit for Ahmed. And that's a good situation for his team to be in.
This time cuts, but there is a man in the deep. 22 runs now from the last 11 deliveries. That's a strike rate of 200, and it's been because Dale Phillips has decided he's got to go for it at this stage. You won't mind that asking rate of 11.61 once they can keep it to a controllable rate. With a lot of power to come, I expect to see Elmore Hutchinson at some stage. It's been an expensive over from Ahmed. Ahmed to Ahmad. Phillips hits that so well in the gap. Slaps it in front of cover. And a really good shot from Dale Phillips, upping the ante, kicking into second and third gear. End of the 15th over, 89 for 3.
What if I tell you the easiest way to maximize your tax savings, get bookkeeping done, and having a better financial position in the market is to call 1-800-250-8596. So what are you waiting for? Just pick up the phone and call us now.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Well, all on that man. Dale Phillips, the captain for the Lashings. First day of captaincy for him, taking over this morning. Earlier against the Seattle Thunderbolts, a game which they lost. But boy, did they learn from it, because it's been a much better batting performance. They've done well. It's going to be Usman Rafiq. 2 overs for just 4 runs. Comes back into the attack. It's off spin. But this time cut. But there is a cover in the place. You just thought hitting into the smaller side. Had he got it a bit squarer, could have easily had another boundary.
Usman Rafiq into his penultimate over. Ashley Nurse still has 1 more. And 2 to be bowled by Mohamed Ilyas.
We will see Trump at some stage in the last 5. Got to back the young man. He's been so consistent, so effective for you with both bat and ball. He deserves that 1 over Matthew Trump. He's both 3 for 13. Potentially would like to see him from the other end where he's bowled extremely well.
Boys, go on, let's go on, come on here, fellas. Egg wicket.
A lull in the proceedings.
1.
Another single. Good batting from Ahmad though. But the first 4 deliveries have only conceded 3 runs. And you just sense that needing 12 and over, Dale Phillips is going to have to go here. So something could give. Whether it's a wicket or a boundary be the key. Plays it safe. Dale Phillips gets it for a single. The key thing he's done though, he had a lot of dot deliveries early on, Brian, but once he's come into his own, very few dots for Phillips. Now past run a ball 42 from 40.
Certainly the mark of a professional cricketer, knowing that the scoreboard still needs to be ticking over.
Just past Ashley Nurse at that mid-wicket position in the circle. An excellent over from Usman Rafiq. Just 5 runs, crucial, 94 for 3.
Dale Phillips, 42 not out from 40. So Ahmed, 12 from 9. Boy, everything to play for here, because the required rate is now up to 12.75. And it appears that Mohamed Ilyas is going to be taking up the attack from the forest end. I would expect Ilyas to bowl over 17, which is what this is, and 19. 18 likely from Nurse. And then it will be really interesting to see who's selected, who's asked by Captain Usman Rafiq to bowl the 20th. Does he have it in him to ask himself to bowl that last over? I think a lot of it will depend on what happens with Dale Phillips. Phillips is still at the wicket. Might be a dangerous move. But if Phillips is somehow able to be dismissed by Ilyas, then I'm thinking you may see exactly that happen.
Already getting hot as the sun goes down. Just before, the sun must have his impact. Goes full, Ilyas, and straight away met with power. Hello, welcome. Zohaib Ahmad is here.
Wow, that did not miss by much. Ilyas looking for the Yorker, and I think it just got it just a little too short. Missing the Yorker, ended up being a half volley. And just an economy of movement. Very little flourish on the shot, driven right back over his head for 6. That is a tremendous strike, and it puts immediately Ilyas on the back foot.
Well, nobody expected this from Zohaib Ahmad, but there was a reason why they've opted to send him in front of Elmore Hutchinson, because of shots like this. Second maximum now for Ahmad, and Ilyas straight away under pressure. Has to pull that length back though. I don't know why he's opting to bowl so full, especially with the 2 fielders in the deep on the leg side and 1 on the cover boundary. Oh, more salt in the wounds for the Hurricanes. Things are slipping away from them. This time, just cut over the fielder in the circle. Another boundary, 10 from the first 2.
Well, he certainly did pull the length back on that occasion, but just guilty of getting it too wide. Look how wide that is, allowing the batter that time, Ahmed, to be able to have the room to open his arms and flash. That runs away for 4. Elias has a little bit of thinking to do. Arms on his hips, which is always the sign that the bowler is under pressure. First 2 balls of this, the 17th over, have yielded 10 runs. Not what you had in mind if you're Usman Rafiq when you went back to your #1 bowler.
All of a sudden, 10 runs per over in the last 3. Remember, that last over from Rafiq only went for 5, so they have to do some catching up here. They've started really well. Already 10 from the first 2 deliveries. How does Ilyas bowl to him? Much better length and straighter as well. So doesn't have the arms or the width to go over that offside field. Much straighter from Mohamed Ilyas. He's an experienced performer, will know exactly how to bowl in these death situations. Wet pace off as well. Cutter into the surface.
You're exactly right. The length was similar to the previous delivery, but it was a lot straighter. Did not provide the room for Ahmed to open up his arms. And so it results in the dot ball. Good comeback.
This time, down to long off. Nurse is there. He has a strong arm. And they easily get 2. 12 from the over so far.
.39 needed from the last 20, so this is getting close, getting down to the wire. Throw coming in from the deep. Nurse is the fielder with that strong arm, but slightly off line and no real chance of effecting a run out.
And there it is, the bat and the loud exclamation from Mohamed Ilyas. Boy, has he had to work for that wicket, but after being struck and pumped to the boundary twice in the over, he comes back like any professional, any veteran would. Cross seam delivery, surprising him.
Boy, opting that time to stay leg side of the ball and swipe, was very wide open with his stance. And Tanaf Wasi, look at him celebrate. The youngster takes the catch. This is a big wicket in the context of this game. Score now 106 for 5.
Well, there comes the big man, Elmore Hutchinson. Dale Phillips, well, you can only feel for him in terms of being in that heat. Been there for a long time now, Phillips, and has had to battle on. Elmore Hutchinson, well, I can tell you one thing, Brian. He's been there all day because remember, he's the wicketkeeper as well, so no breaks. It deserves a lot of credit, actually, Phillips. Not only is he the captain, the wicketkeeper, but batting first in the first game, now having to bat through the innings for his team.
And remember that he came in very early at the fall of the first wicket, so he's essentially played most of the last 80 overs of cricket.
No, deserves fantastic credit, and I think the Lashings deserve credit themselves as an organization for these 2 pickups. Both Kateni Clark and Phillips in these first 5 games have been super for this team. That's been one as well for the Hurricanes. Mohamed Ilyas from Pakistan.
Boy, how important is this last delivery? You see Captain Usman Rafiq go over and confer with his big strike bowler, making sure that they are on the same page with this last ball. How big a delivery is this one?
Hutchinson gets off the mark straight away. A single to end the over, but 13 from it and a wicket. 107 for 4.
What if I tell you the easiest way to maximize your tax savings, get bookkeeping done, and having a better financial position in the market is to call 1-800-250-8596. So what are you waiting for? Just pick up the phone and call us now.
So Usman Rafiq, the captain, will come into the attack. Mohamed Ilyas, cross-seam delivery, getting the breakthrough after being struck for 6 and then 4, pushing it wide, good bowling, pulling back the length, couldn't drive that. Faint edge and taken in the end.
Boy, look how he was splayed. That front foot was aimed toward mid-wicket, and he's trying to play the ball through the offside. The coaches will have an issue with that formulation, not designed to actually make contact with the ball. Here's a big move and a big over coming up. Elmore Hutchinson is right now on strike. He will be facing up to the wiles of the captain, Usman Rafiq.
Interesting contest this. The ball spinning into Hutchinson. He'll back himself to go. Well, just sweeps it. Doesn't quite connect, and it won't run away to the boundary. Tries to sweep it, that is. Wide signal by the umpire, so a good start to the over. Bonus runs. Elmore Hutchinson. The middle of that bat, Brian, the shots we've seen him play, probably hit the biggest six of all the teams this morning earlier. Hutchinson. Phillips wants two, but it'll just be a single. He has the ability, Elmore Hutchinson, to really thump it, especially against the slower Rafiq. But the thing is, with the Rafiq, he'll have to create his own power.
Always had the ability and the reputation of being a big hitter late in games.
Oh, wow. Down the leg side. Rafiq having to adjust the line. Fortunate for him. Hutchinson missed that. It was very full. You can see there, Elmore Hutchinson signaling that it's very slow. Good bowling from Rafiq, the captain. Not deceiving him. That one went the other way. The leg spinner from Rafiq. We've seen it a couple of times today. And Elmore Hutchinson, well, he's had to watch the first two deliveries pretty closely. This time flat and pulled just to the man. This is bowling to his field by Usman Rafiq, the captain. Simple but effective.
Goodness, he is so good, and he's mixing things up so much. Look at this. Hutchinson going back, pulling it square, but right to that fielder down that deep backward square leg.
This time punch, but straight to extra cover.
What the hell?
Dot ball, and surface beginning to spin. Well, actually, it's begun to spin from the onset, but definitely beginning to rip, you can say. A lot of grip on offer for the spinners. What a ball. Wasi was asking the question. Good ball from Rafiq. Excellent finish to the over, and crucially, only concedes 4. The pressure on, 111 for 4. Here is the excellent delivery. Much slower from Rafiq. That back foot crucially for Dale Phillips. Just staying in.
What an over.
Just 2 overs remain, Brian. Mohamed Ilyas has taken off his cap. An interesting decision for Rafiq. Dale Phillips has been fantastic. Run a ball 43. The job is not finished yet. 35 needed from the last 2. Ilyas has got 1, so you expect him to bowl the penultimate. Ashley Nurse has got 1 as well. 3 for 11. Where does he go back to? Or maybe even Trump.
Boy.
Put on your captaincy hat, Brian.
Ilyas and Nurse is where I'm going. Ilyas and Nurse.
And to your credit the other day, Brian, you also called for Ashley Nurse to bowl the last over, which went to 27 runs against the strikers.
The intelligence and experience of an Ashley Nurse is what you need to bowl the last over. But look at this. 12 deliveries left. They still need another 34. If you get your horse in this over here to restrict them to maybe 8 or 9 runs, that gives you some room to play in that last over.
Crucial 6 deliveries, this penultimate. Starts with the wide. Mohamed Ilyas, full toss. Can clearly see he's looking to bowl that wide Yorker. He was disappointed. Very wide and doesn't even hit the pitch by Mohamed Ilyas. Toyota, a big brand we've had for the 2nd year running in this Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. And it's allowed names like Mohamed Ilyas to travel all the way from Pakistan to compete in this tournament. Fantastic to have him on board. and so many of the others, international, both current and former players. Boy, have we been treated to the blockbuster first 2 weekends here in this minor league. Good delivery from Ilyas. Phillips wants to strike. And Wasi unable to catch it cleanly. Bit of extra pace from Ilyas on display.
Just a buy. I don't mind the idea of bowling those full wide Yorkers. You have a deep third man and a man sweeping deep in the covers. So there's protection in the deep. What you want to do, though, is not, number one, not give any extra deliveries and extra balls. So you want to keep it inside that wide line. And then assuming they have the same plan for Phillips, which is what it appears, just have to make sure to not leave it short. Have it get all the way up there Yorker length. You don't want to give him room to get underneath it.
Ilyas making sure he's got his field right. He has a deep cover. Deep cover on the boundary, as well as a point. He wants to ensure with Usman Rafiq that they get this right. So they have a long off, 3 on the boundary and the offside. Long off, deep cover, deep point. And on the leg side, he has deep mid-wicket and a long on. Matthew Trump stands at long on, the towering figure. So it tells you, based on this field, that Ilyas either going very full or short. Well, full is the answer. And I know, Brian, it sounds very obvious. Obviously, you can only be full or short. But what I meant to say was either very short, bouncer height, looking for Phillips to then play the pull, or the cut with the protection in deep, or Yorker, which he's gone to. And because he's come across his stumps, I think he's gotten away with it. Mohamed Ilyas.
I still think he's going to keep that line full and outside of off stump. That cover fielder and that wide point fielder are going to be coming into play. I don't think he goes straight.
Full again. Excellent bowling at the death for Mohamed Ilyas. Another Yorker and another single. And from this position, 31 needed now from 9 deliveries. They're going to need a miracle from here at the SoCal Lashings. This 2022 Toyota Minor League presented by Sunoco. Look how wide he is. Not only Phillips, but also Ilyas, the line. Phillips knows it's coming wide, but he can't do anything about it. It's so hard to get under those deliveries. We're looking to be a bit innovative, Elmo Hutchinson. So tough, those shots in cricket, especially with a ball at that pace.
Seen the big man hit big late. I've never seen him attempt a scoop shot. That's not what you were having in mind when you were having Elmore Hutchinson come into bat right now. He's the one who extends those long levers and sends the ball soaring somewhere between mid-wicket and long on.
I think that tells you the extra pace of Ilyas is causing some problems. Full. Looking for the Yorker again. And because it just rushed on to Hutchinson, he couldn't get the bat down in time to maneuver that where he wanted. Another excellent delivery from Mohamed Ilyas. Another Yorker and another single. The figures won't reflect it, but this has been a valuable performance from him yet again. In the first win, he was brilliant. And it's these crucial deliveries that you expect from the man that you've brought in for that extra bit of international experience.
Still 1 ball to come. 5 runs already conceded from this over. He has to finish strong. Look how far across Phillips moves. You want to make sure that you absolutely finish strong here.
Down the track again, but straight to the field at square leg. Phillips can get through for 1, but that's all it will be. He deserves a round of applause. He deserves a lot of credit, Mohamed Ilyas. The last over just concedes 6 runs. He's finished his 4, 117 for 4.
What a great over by Mohamed Ilyas. Getting a hug from his teammates. Look at that. Everything to play for here because Houston is desperate for a win. Absolutely desperate for a win rather. And boy, pretty steep hill to climb here as you see the batting card Elmore Hutchinson not out 4 from 7. Dale Phillips not out 45 from 46. But between them, they need to come up with a way of scoring 28 runs in the next over.
But I think what the Lashings, regardless of the result, can take from this is that some in order we're so reliant on that top 3, Clark, Phillips, and Hutchinson. 1 over remains. And it's going to be Nurse. It's going to be Ashley Nurse. 3 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 11. Usman Rafiq throws the ball to his season campaigner. Now this could be a risk, and I'll tell you why. You got pace off to Hutchinson. It's a challenge that I know Ashley Nurse, he looks a very cool man here on camera, but right now inside, he is a little child in terms of excitement because he's been trusted with a big over. And bowled well through it today. Both the first and the very last over of this innings. First delivery is in the air. Could be another for Nurse. Raja takes it. And Nurse has got 4. That probably could be all she wrote for the SoCal Lashings. Easy catch in the end. First wicket, Nurse strikes.
Not quite all she wrote just yet, but if you're Houston, you are really happy with the results of that first delivery from Ashley Nurse. Flighted, but not at driving length, asking Elmore Hutchinson to come out and hit big. Big man has a big reach, but not getting all the way out there, and only succeeding in slicing that ball, taken deep at long on, and that is the...
Hutchinson gone for just 4, 117 for 5.
Pretty good though. Pretty nice. Standing up to face all this. I don't mind doing that, like face is not this one. Yeah. That's it.
Ubada comes to the crease. Phillips again trying to score boundaries. Coming back for 2, but they won't mind that. Not going to make a big difference at this stage.
Well, that double made all the difference in the world, because that means that unless Nurse bowls any extras, the Houston Hurricanes will have their first victory of the weekend.
The second, of course, pairing with the Blasters win on Friday. Well, Phillips hits this one into the onside. Loose delivery from Nurse, but with that boundary, he'll get to 50. The captain, Dale Phillips, he's batted well and deserves a lot of credit. But in the end, it won't be enough. But definitely stepped up. It's a huge effort from him. The way he's gone about things today, not only leading the team from the very first delivery of this morning behind the stumps. Batted with excellently. Looking to play the switch hit. Definitely outside the off stump in terms of the impact, so it won't be like before. But he needs some help. I think the way Skander with Sharma, Zoeb, Ahmad batted is encouraging, but I still think there's too much reliance on either Phillips or Katani Clark. Comes across again, switch hit, gets some bat on it. And Ashley Nurse again, Brian, we mentioned trusting him. He's shown you why you go to experience always, regardless of the situation. She'd no bat on it, just went past everyone. They have deceived Tonaf Wasi. Final delivery coming up for the Hurricanes and the Lashings. Expect should be. It is hit in the air. Elias on the boundary can only catch it over the rope. A maximum to end the innings, but consolation prize for the SoCal Lashings, because the Hurricanes win this encounter and go to their second win in this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. One that they had to work very hard for, Brian, but in the end, the experience with Usman Rafiq, Elias, and Ashley Nurse proving successful for them, winning by some 14 runs.
Well, that is the benefit of an Ashley Nurse in the lineup who can affect the game in more than one way. So if he fails with the bat, which he did today, he more than made up for it with the ball. Economical over, just absolutely doing exactly what his captain needed from him. His overall spell is one that pulled his team right back into the victory. So the Hurricanes win it by 14 runs. A good end for them for this reason, because they think they had to protect their home. They wanted to make sure that they gave a good performance at home.
Well, since that win against the Blasters on Friday, it's been a struggle for them on the weekend, but fitting for the home team to end off this blockbuster weekend with a win. Picking up their second, now go to 2 wins and 3 losses, but a lot to take, a lot to be proud of, the Houston Hurricanes. And after they fought their way up to 144, the bowlers and the experienced bowlers doing extremely well. Ashley Nurse will get the congratulations for his 4 wickets. Well, here's how it unfolded. With the bat in hand for the Lashings, it was only about 1 man. Dale Phillips, 51 from 50 not out, a half century for the captain. Starts for Skandar Sharma and Zoeb Ahmad, but once they took that Ahmad wicket, you always knew it'd be tough, very tough, that is, to win. Sanchit Sandhu, the 6th to win, but in the end, not proving enough. Short by 14 runs in terms of the bowling. The Hurricanes, well, they'll feel very happy, even more happy about this bowling performance. A big improvement from yesterday, highlighted by 1-man Nurse, but they bowled well in partnership. You see the economy rate of Usman Rafiq, the captain, 3.25. And Mohammad Ilyas chipped in with 1 wicket and excellent death bowling. So in the end, winning by some 14 runs. A win that will help the Hurricanes as they continue to progress in this tournament. Moving from game to game, everyone's so crucial. A team that finished 2nd in the Western Division last season, they've had to fight this year. Set up by Munib Chowdhury with 46. Let's have a look at how the second innings unfolded. In terms of for this, it was all about an early start, getting the early wicket of Katani Clark after a couple early boundaries from 2 in that first over from Katani Clark. He was looking dangerous. Would have been one that they wanted to get. Ashley Nurse came in straight away, given the new ball today, and prized the crucial wicket caught at cover. Then Dale Phillips, the captain, came to the crease. A real good innings from him. Ashley Nurse again, getting the shot in out early. 2nd wicket for him. Both 2 overs, just conceded 1 run up front. Matthew Trump was good. Skandar Sharma played his shots behind square. He's a meticulous player who has good showings for the future. Skandar Sharma did a couple against the spin, a couple against the pace. And the Hurricanes had to work hard. There came a period where Dale Phillips was able to lead his team through the middle with Rohit Sharma. The 2 put on a lengthy partnership, which was beginning to worry the Hurricanes. Then Ashley Nurse was brought back into the attack straight away, took the wicket. And from there on in, it was always going to be difficult. Phillips continued and actually upped the ante another level when he was able to continue to strike. That was a big one from Ahmad, his first 6. Then Mohammad Ilyas was unfortunately struck over 3rd for another boundary, but he came back well with an edge to Tomaf Wasi, who made no mistake. And in the end, the bowling being the main performer for the Houston Hurricanes. Alongside me, just before we get to him, the Hurricanes winning by 14 runs, set up by Nurse with 4 for 23, and of course Munib Riyasat Chowdhury, 46 from 47, to pick up their 2nd win of this tournament. Today's player of the match has to be 1-man Ashley Nurse, 4 for 23. Ashley, good to see you in this position. I know how important it is for the Hurricanes that you fire. What was different today about your bowling?
I just put my all into it. I mean, I wasn't happy with my performances over the weekend, so it was a do-or-die time for me. Obviously, we don't want to go 4 down, so I just came out and gave my all today, and it worked out.
Tell me about, in terms of for your bowling effort, how much has it helped the pressure of having someone like a Trump, having someone like your captain Usman Rafiq to help in terms of supporting you?
I think we just assessed the wicket really well. Trump is a guy that he's in good bowling form. Over the weekend, he's been doing really well, so we just decided to use the wicket. It looked a bit dry today. We decided to use the wicket a little more, and it worked out for us. I mean, obviously coming in and bowling in power play and conceding 1 run, I think that was an unbelievable start. And then we just decided to keep the pressure on from there.
The plan to get Katani Clark out, he's such an important performer for them. The most wickets, you were given the new ball first. It was 2nd over today. How much did you enjoy that new role, and what was the plan to Clark?
Yeah, but obviously he's the informed batsman, so it was all about not giving him arms. You know that he's a good offside player, so I just saw he just back pitch the ball and try to spin it as hard as I could, and the wicket had assisted me in a bit there, so he tried to force a back of a length ball, and it worked out for us.
Actually, for you personally, you're such an important player for this Hurricanes team. You were sort of out of the performances for the first couple of games. How important for you is it? How good does it feel to finally get a match-winning performance, 4 wickets for your team after failing with the bat earlier?
Yeah, it's obvious. It's always good to contribute to the team's cause. I mean, my batting form, I've been striking the ball really well, but I'm not carrying on, so that's a concern for me. So going on in the tournament and looking to enhance on that. Today was very disappointing again. Trying to rush it. I mean, had 2 or 3 more overs. I could have waited a little bit more. So I'm disappointed with the batting. So I just decided to come out and put my all into the bowling and try to contribute.
Tell me about this team, the Hurricanes. Now, 2 wins from this weekend, a home weekend for you guys, 5 games played. What's going to be important as an experienced player yourself with a young team to move forward and continue to pick up the momentum?
Yeah, we know in 2020 cricket, it's about getting on a run. Right now, we're losing a bit. But having looked at the points table last night, we didn't lose hope because no one that's around us are winning. So the only team that's winning is probably Dallas. So that's a good result for us. So we're back in the runnings now. Probably be wrong seeing 4 points as majority team. So it's all about going on the road now and getting those points to come back home and try to use home advantage.
Ashley Nurse today, 4 for 23. You've been brilliant with the ball in hand. We look forward to great performance from you in the future. And congrats again for you and your team.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, today's player of the match, Ashley Nurse. A crucial performance for him as he chipped in with the ball. The new ball, that is, as he was able to pick up 4 wickets very early, the crucial one of Katani Clark. Well, that's how the table now lies, with the Hurricanes picking up their 2nd win. They moved to 4, a very tight central division with 4 teams stuck on 4 points. The Dallas Mustangs were separating themselves. And for the Lashings, well, they've really struggled now. 1 win and 5 losses. They have to go back to the drawing board. Well, let's look at sort of what's to come in terms of this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship. Can't wait to bring you this action from Morgan Hill on the premium coverage on Willow TV and MLC Network. The Bay Blazers, East Bay Blazers, up against the Golden State Grizzlies. That is going to be a cracker of a game. And then the defending champions in action, the Silicon Valley Strikers, up against the San Diego Surf Riders. It's been a true privilege for me and the entire production team here at the 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco, of course, to bring you the action live from the Prairie View, Texas ground here in Houston. And we really look forward to seeing you next week as this minor league continues to roll around and continues to produce fantastic action. See you then.
Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.